Good evening. Welcome, Vancity Prepper. Good to see you, my friend. I hope everything is okay with you. I hope your day has been good. Mine, well, has been pretty windy and a lot of snow. That didn't make my job easier actually. So, but I almost stuck with the car twice and I didn't come up. With the car, but it was not plowed. So it was just take it easy and drive carefully. At least one in the house. I wonder who might that be. Whoever you are, you're very welcome. Shadow is back live again, but not at Saturday as I usually do. For one reason, my father-in-law, he turned 70 earlier this week, so we have a birthday party for him tomorrow. So that is why I had to move my stream from tomorrow to today. So, I wonder who you are. Two in the house. I wonder who might that be. Hey Vanessa, good to see you, my friend. Really good to see you. How are you doing, my friend? I hope everything is okay with you. Well, a Friday is not actually my regular streaming day, but I had to move it today. As I said, my father-in-law turned 70 earlier this week, so I have to celebrate him tomorrow. So that means I don't have time to have my stream for tomorrow, so I have to move it today. And here we are. Hey Celtic, how are you doing? I hope everything is okay with you, my friend. And I really hope that we'll pop in more people. Hey Guardian, good to see you, my friend.
Hi there, thank you. It's good to see you as well, Shadow, and hello to the chat.
Yeah, I had to move my stream today instead for tomorrow because my father-in-law turned 70 earlier this week, so we have a birthday party for him tomorrow. So
no, it's a good thing, and it's always good that you prioritize family over YouTube as well. It's definitely, at the end of the day, YouTube is good, and it's great to have the community and that, but family is always for life. Family is very important.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
So I'm just going to be, I'm here and I will have my cam on a little bit later. I'm just busy sorting out and we're just busy finishing off dinner here at the moment. So I don't want to come on the camera and just eat in front of everybody because there's might be people that are hungry and they see me eating or something.
well, I'm eating myself, so don't worry about it. Welcome, little house in the big woods. Welcome, Grey Wolf Outdoors. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks, Vancity. Good to see you again. 5 in the house. I'm impressed.
Yeah, as I say, Shadow, if you give me maybe 2 or 3 minutes, I'll set it up so that I can also bring up my camera. Just one moment quickly.
Yeah, no problem. Now this got to be fun. Oh, sorry if I'm eating. Oatmeal. My stomach is a little bit messed up because I think I have what you call it, ulcer. So that is why I need to calm the stomach down a little bit with oatmeal. And I also have tea, peppermint licorice, which is something I like. Hey, Louise. Good to see you, buddy. And by the way, how is everyone doing here? I hope everyone is okay. No Charlie Victor or anything else.
Yeah, do you want to join us, Louise?
He usually want to, so.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'd be nice if you joined us. It'd be great.
Yeah.
It's always good to see you.
Now there you go. There you go, Louise. You know the drill. Thanks, Grey Wolf. I was at the dock earlier this week, and it seems they need to put a.
Hey,
Louise.
How's it going?
Well, I'm doing just fine, except for my stomach. I think I got ulcer again. I got it back. So, or actually, it never went. Well, so so I have to do gastro. What you call it? The English word for it. You put a tube down your throat, in your mouth, and they put it down to your stomach. Gastroscopy, I believe.
Yeah, I think where there's a camera on the end to see where it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I will. So I will get called for that, and that makes me nervous.
Yeah. Anything like that makes me nervous.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Gemma, Jenny Grace. Good to see you, my friend. Long time no see, Gemma.
Yeah, they just want to probably see how bad it is in case if they have to, like I'm no doctor, right? But they might have to operate just to see how bad it is. Or if they can give you just medication, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Hey, Vancity, good to see you.
Going? Good to see you guys. Thanks for letting me say hi.
Hey, Vancity.
Hey.
Hey, Herobrine.
Hey. Normally, I work full time, except right now I'm not working, and today and Saturdays I'm always at gymnastics when you're doing live, so I'm in there messaging.
All at once.
I don't know why I'm so aggressive right now.
That's good, Gemma. You need to take some time off too, my friend.
Everyone was silent for a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, what you guys up to?
Well, let's say I had been had a tough day at work because the wind were at 20 meters per second, and I almost stuck with a
Damn.
car. Too slippery. Total mess.
Mm.
But
You think I
What's
could
up,
figure it
Vancity?
out by you think I could figure this out by now? No.
hey, Sunny Stormy, good to see you. Welcome, by the way. NS Creations, good to see you. Oh, people just drop in. That's good. That is what I like it. So everything keeps you busy, Vancity.
You betcha. But I'm always listening to your, well, not always, but trying to listen to your live streams in the background of stuff.
Well, that's just fine.
Oh,
As long as some listen in the background or lurking, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
yeah.
You get the
Lurking's like a
watch hours
good thing.
anyway. Hey, Jenny Nonya, welcome. Good to see you, my friend.
I'm gonna have
Hey, by the way,
to. While
good-
I'm here, I'm gonna be doing something.
sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. No, not a problem. My apologies. Hello, chat. Yeah, just busy combing my hair real quick and sorting that out, and then I'll be with you guys in one moment.
I was confused for a minute. I was like, "What?"
No, I'll be
Sounds
right
like
there
I'm
with you
head
guys
like that.
on
The
camera as well.
expectations are way up now. The expectations.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to wear a hat to make sure I don't disappoint people. You know.
Well, where the heck?
Guardian, you don't disappoint people. You make people happy.
Right?
I know, but give me one more second. I'm trying to get my lighting a bit better too.
Do we have cards that we can hold up a rating?
What, like mugshots?
Here, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Thank
There you
Darling,
go.
10 out of 10.
There you go. Look. There you go. 10.
Oh, yay.
Welcome, darling. OFW Vlogs. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it really is good to see everybody as well. By the way.
Yeah.
Remind me, I'm just looking for my military stuff right now. I can't find the bloody thing. What the hell happened to it?
So what's been happening? Anybody got some interesting stories to tell about this last week? Anybody have any events that happened or anything like that?
No, not for me. I'm gonna try to find something real quick. Whoa.
No problem. My lighting is so bad. I'm supposed to have like a light.
And while I can, and will you mute me for a minute?
Sorry. 1 second. Sure.
That was me myself.
Louise, are you there?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm still here.
something.
Sorry, Vancity.
Oh no, I've got something. Our shelves are really low, and I don't know why it's not more discussed in Canada. I go to a whole bunch of them, and everywhere, especially Walmart, is very, very low. I haven't made a video in a while about that, but you know, a lot of the stores here are quite sparse, and it's not as
Well, that would
discussed.
be because. Yeah, well, that would be because of the trucker convoy here over in Ottawa, and over in Alberta at the border, and then I think the states are going out to Washington D.C. as well too. So that's probably the biggest reason, right? Like they've been at it in Ottawa for almost like a week. You know what I mean? And it's growing. And the last time I heard, it was just over $10 million that the GoFundMe had just raised, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like a week worth of 50,000 plus truckers, right? That's a dent into the supply chain.
Yep.
A big dent. You know, because boats can't go to Walmart, you know, your trains can't go to Walmart, right? You know, it's the truckers, right? That have to go to Walmart here, there, the warehouses, the grocery malls, right? And if they're all sitting up at the border or in Washington D.C. or Ottawa there, right? You know, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Well, it's going to start getting a little lower on the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
I hate saying that, right? Like the old man. The old man had a big butcher shop there, like a plant, and he had his own truckers, and you know they were out on the road every day to the National Grocers warehouse with 2 trailer 53 footers to National Grocers and a couple of straight trucks to a straight truck here there to grocery malls, right? You know, Mondays was our smallest day, but our Fridays was our biggest day because Fridays was for the whole weekend, right? So if miss a day, it's a little bit of a dent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's obviously, I was watching a stream earlier where people were talking about, you know, with the just-in-time delivery service, and it's something that obviously impacts people quite heavily during these times because most of the time the stores will only really have just the right amount. I mean, it obviously saves on storage space in most of the retail stores, so a lot of the time you're left with like a very low commodity. So if something does disrupt the supply chain, you end up with a pretty rough situation rather sooner than later. And I don't know, you know, it's up to like theoretical debate really, if it comes down to, you know, the fact where people say that that chaos is like 3 meals away. We're like 3 meals away from complete chaos. And I think that there is some truth to that. While, yeah, so it's a long debate really.
There is.
There's a couple of sides to it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there is truth to that, Guardian, because you know, I'm only speaking for the chicken, right? 7 days before you can't sell it, you know, and before it goes towards dog food, right? Kill floor to my dad, you know, when he was selling it, right? He's retired now. So that's going to be about a day or two. When my dad's got it,
Yeah.
Sorry, Vancity.
Oh no, it's okay. If anybody is in the Vancouver area, don't try to go into the city on a Saturday because there's major protests and a lot of blockages of roadways and stuff. So I got stuck down there a couple weeks ago, but Saturdays it's best to not move around too much if possible.
Yeah, you don't want to be cornered and cut off during a protest. Stuck in there.
That can be dangerous.
Yeah. You know, my dad, it's a couple of days by the time the protocols get it. It's
Someone's heading out on
like 2 days or 3 days at max before it's got to be sold.
Sorry, like I got most of what you said there, but there was a little bit of a tad of a delay, I think, in the signal.
Yeah, on my end, it kept cutting out.
No, on your end, you're fine. Yeah, There's nothing bad in
That's just like that's just what I heard. That's what I heard.
No. I think it might have been on Lewis's side, just with the connectivity. But usually Lewis's line is fine. So when it comes down to it, that's why I like two wheels, because in a lot of situations when roads get blocked up and that type of thing, it's not always feasible. But if you need to go and do like a little bit of a supply run or something like that in a SHTF scenario, realistically, like most of the time, two wheels can get you in a lot of different places where four wheels can't. And I just always have stuck by that. And it's just like something that I absolutely love. So I think just speaking about like SHTF type scenarios with the shortage of supply runs and with the shortage of supplies coming up that you were speaking about, Vancity, as well, I think that in those type of scenarios, it's just good to have that. I said it the other day. I think you still even responded. There was I think it was City, there was I think it was City Prepping or something specifically that made a video about it. And then I put something, I made a comment and I said, there's never really a better time to be stocking up and to make sure that you got food rotations. And then what people do is, they'll take it a little bit longer. I eventually deleted the comment, like even though it got a bit of good traction and stuff, because like people were saying, sorry about that.
My dog's going next also.
I'm sorry. Really, I'm sorry.
Sounds like my dog.
I think she's good now. I think she's all right. But yeah, it just comes down to supply chains and that type of thing. And I don't know, people took it very practically and they said, there were other times where it was just as important. But I think overall it always is really good to have a certain rotation of food and just make sure that you can be self-reliant if it really does come down to it. Small scale gardening if you can as well. So yeah.
Way off topic. I'm about to kind of sad now that I hit 100 subs on here. Sorry, that was way off topic.
No, repeat the question. Sorry, what did you say?
It wasn't a question. It was just something way off topic. On my channel, I just now got 100 people subbed after about 4 or 5 years of doing this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. I think that like
I know. I mean it was. I was saying it was way off topic from what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, well, if you picture 100 people in a room, that's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. It is.
That's a lot of, So, I mean, it's something that you should be proud of and that you've worked on as well. So I think it's a good thing, legitimately. Like, I think that, once you get to that 100 as well, it can sometimes move a little bit further than that as well. So, just keep uploading. Consistency is important as well. If you also try and upload at least once a week, not everybody can all the time. But if you try to upload once every week or once every second week, I try to, in the minimum, once every second week, make like a different video entirely about what I'm really focusing on my preps at that point. But there's so many things, like even if you go for a hike in your area, you can just take a couple of, just take a bit of a short video of a hike in your area. People love hiking videos. So, it might be something that you might want to look at.
The other thing is...
sorry.
Oh, no, I sorry to interrupt. The other thing is, and this is such a thing, is it's better to have a certain number of subscribers that are interested in your content, engage with your content, than extra people that don't watch your videos or something like that. So it's better to have a certain amount of subscribers that are really into your channel. That's what's the most important thing.
But like I've been trying to keep my YouTube for knives and Twitch for survival stuff. Because on Twitch, I'm Eagle Scout Survival Tips. I try to do survival stuff on there, but keep YouTube knives. That's my username. But yeah, now I'm thinking of doing like giveaways, but now I'm like, I don't know what to do for that.
Are you on any other platforms as well, like Instagram or anything like that?
I have a Facebook page for my YouTube channel, but I rarely ever use that thing.
Yeah.
But, I already have some scheduled for every week anyway, on Mondays.
Yeah, it can be quite beneficial. I mean, to run like ulterior like social media platforms as well, and it's just something that can benefit you to a degree. But it's also like I've never been the biggest fan of technology, so I only really like within the last year started to like upload some photos during like to Instagram, and I'm actually quite ashamed of myself to the point that
he has become disgusting with it. He's worse than a girl. He's always posting on Instagram.
I confess, absolutely. I don't even hide it anymore.
He loves it. He takes pictures of food.
And I take so many photos of myself until I got that right one. And I'm like, yeah, come on, action shot. Like, come on. And it doesn't look like it, right? Because my Instagram photos aren't even great. But like, I believe, okay? Like, I actually enjoy taking some nature photos as well. It's not just
great. It's great stuff. I like them all. I like all your photos on there. It's great. And that's what this community is about. Like there's different, that's what Instagram is for, right? That's the place for that kind of stuff.
You also get a lot of trolls on Instagram too, which I've had to deal with so many of them. Like,
I think
I would mention it, but it's not allowed.
How did you get trolled on Instagram? Like, what is it? People just leaving nasty comments?
It's more sexual scammers.
Yeah.
That's what it's just sexual scammers. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I
was like, nope.
I haven't run into that.
I don't have enough traction. I don't have enough traction on there to get that sort of feedback.
You'd be surprised.
It's unfortunate, and I think that a lot of the time you just got to understand that when it does come to people that are being like antagonistic in any way, that most of the time it comes from a place of hurt, because there's a whole cheesy line, but it's true. Hurt people. So they probably got issues on their side. Go ahead.
But that's not what's going on. Like, this was these random bots that people make. They control the bots to make it to where they are trying to get money from you. Like, it's like a sexual scam. Like, they try to get your card and all that. It's like, seriously? It's like, nope.
That sounds very like, I don't know, that sounds malicious. Like, it sounds strange. Like, you know, like
it's very common though.
I'd be cautious of those people that do that, you know.
I know what to look for at this point. There are times where I just have fun destroying the back.
It's interesting. It is interesting.
What? I'm sorry. Herebrand, what region? I think you're in the States. What region? Like, I won't ask specifically.
Midwest.
Nice.
I'm in the Midwest.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a nice part of the country.
So you're close to Washington?
Not my town.
Are you close to Washington? Washington on that side?
I'm in Iowa.
Okay.
Nice.
So
it's a beautiful farmland out there.
My town, though,
Iowa's got some beautiful farming areas.
Beautiful
things out there, yeah.
My town's gone to crap.
Oh, yeah?
Come up for
Oh, my town is all meth heads in my town.
Oh.
That's like half my town.
That's too bad. North America's got a lot. Yeah, North America
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's going down, sadly. But yeah.
I follow a couple of people who are actually from Iowa. The first one is Kalen Strain, and the other one is AOK, Forging Adventures. Those two channels are from Iowa.
Nice. There is a knife maker that my aunt works in the hospital here. One of her coworkers, her son is a knife maker.
Oh wow!
So I'm gonna when he gets his forge set up as a new place, he's gonna be designing a knife.
Wow!
And then I'm gonna be trying to make the scales for it. So yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's gonna be fun. I've been collecting knives for like 4 or 5 years now. I've been collecting for a while. All right. That's my knife box for now. Oh,
So tell me something that so you guys can. If I don't make that silence, you guys, it's terrible. Come on, the chat's wanting.
I
Chat's
only muted myself because of my family.
Chat's wanting some entertainment over here. So okay, so tell me something about your area specifically, because most of us are in pretty much different areas as well. Tell me something
Yeah.
that you like, any specific plant from your area that you actually enjoy, or any, if not any plant in the wilderness that you'd find, but something that grows very well specifically in your area that you could find pretty like, you know, would help with self-sustainability, and that would essentially be a plant that could, you know, add nutrition and add a certain amount of stability to your regular diet. Just in your local areas, if you guys want to give me like an answer for that, if you've got one or two.
Okay, so we grow everything that grows in this area, literally like cauliflower, broccoli, spinach, all herbs, pumpkins, squash, zucchini, radishes, like all this, literally berries, like all the stuff. We have about 4 different gardens, like quite large gardens. But I would say, since we do grow all the stuff in this region, it's a mild, temperate, rainforest type area. It gets cold in the winter and hot in the summer. And I would say if I could only grow one, for example, or recommend one, I would say kale. I've said this before. Some feedback has always been it's a very acquired taste, but for SHTF and stuff, they do okay in the heat. I mean, they're more suited for cold weather, but they still grow, they still thrive. They don't bolt when it gets really hot out. And I had probably about 10, at least 10, maybe more, and I couldn't keep up with it for processing it all and giving it away. So if a person just had just two, they could add a lot of nutrition to their family. If that's all they had, they could have it in a couple pots.
Yeah, because it covers so many different of the vitamin groups as well.
Yes.
It's obviously one of the huge superfoods.
Yes.
That and garlic, if you can have kale and garlic, and quite often garlic can actually aid kale in a lot of ways by preventing some of the pests and that which should usually come for kale. The garlic has a natural way of defending the kale as well. So if you grow them in part like that, kale's excellent. And I think that there's a lot of nutritional value in that. So yeah, if you're saying that you were growing 10 at a time, because they grow quite big, like they supply quite a bit if looked after. Our problem here locally, just to add in quickly before you guys go as well, is just that us staying so close to a river, quite often what happens is just the evaporation of the river as well. It amplifies the heat, and the sun, the direct sun, the plants sometimes get affected quite badly. So even like though I try and grow underneath shade cloth, like the kale still struggles a bit because of that type of temperate climate. So you're right. In colder regions, it'd absolutely do a little bit better than, over here where it gets so hot and humid and that type of thing.
Oh,
Shadow, do you have? Yeah. No, 100%. That's actually a very good one. Kale, absolutely. Like kale 101. If you've got kale, garlic, and if you really start to look at some of your herbs as well, thyme, specifically parsley, like even if you got turmeric, some basil, some sage. There's a lot of very good herbs that you can grow that can complement that too. And then you just grow potatoes, kale, you get the garlic, you got some, like a survivalist garden is what I'm busy looking at the moment. And there's some main ones that you can actually start growing. And like if you just cover like the bare essentials, you can get so much yield from a small space. And that's what I'm doing, a little video season thing that I'm doing at the moment.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
We do grow all of those, everything you just said, except turmeric, and we even have corn crops. And kale, I wouldn't say it's not my favorite, but I think it's the best. Also because some of the bugs, like when it gets bugs, you could see them very easily on the leaves, because that's another thing. So we have them strategically placed, the gardens in different zones on the property. And we even have like one inside the forest, which I've posted. Well, I haven't really posted much about that yet, but it's like a forest garden, because our big thing here is animals come in. Like we have deer, but we also have bears, and so I have pumpkin patches, and the bears will come and eat the pumpkins. So there's not so much fencing you could do about that. So our big challenge is the little bugs, but also the big animals, because here we have they don't so much go for it, but we have cougars, coyotes, bears, like in the property, come through our property. So we have to have strategically placed defense things like in different parts of the property. I've seen these animals here, so that's also a challenge with the gardening.
Does the cold keep away a lot of different types of pests, though? I know it has its own challenges, but do you find that it actually helps for that?
Yes. So we had some heat situations here in the summer that had our temperatures go up to 40 degrees Celsius, which is a lot for us. And yeah, when it's cool, it's so much easier with the bugs. So much easier, for sure. Yeah.
No, I can imagine. It definitely helps so much. We've got, we get problems, and I've got to quite often look at different, mixtures to combat some of the bugs as well that we get, and some of the mold, because we had a squash problem. If you're not familiar with Down Under Farm and Forge, he's actually got a really good video where he does he creates a serum that can be used. It's part milk and part I forget what it is now exactly, but I know it uses a milk powder, and he uses something else. It's Down Under Farm and Forge. I'll put the direct link for you, anybody that's interested as well. But if you get squash quite often in a heated scenario, you get like a lot of that bug that grows on it, and you can easily take that away as well.
Yeah, we have the powdery mildew from this on our squash too, and we make it's got a mix. It's got baking soda and neem oil in it, and a little bit of soap to as an emulsifier and stuff like that. So we make it in those big 4-liter milk jugs and then spray it on the leaves, because the mildew is really bad. Yeah. I see it does. And the commercial farms let it just take over because the leaves will just die off. But I try to fight it. I go out at night and coat all of my plants with this stuff.
Yeah, there's a strange thing that I got, but it was not on my fruit or vegetable bearing plants. It was on one of my cacti, because I also enjoy having rock gardens. I love rock gardens, and cacti have a nice symbolism to me, because the cactus is very hard on the exterior and sharp, and it'll hurt you, but on the inside it's just, I know it sounds super cheesy, you guys, I understand, but cacti, the way that they are, because they've got a hard and rough exterior, there's sometimes and it's sort of like how some people are. Sometimes people have a rough or different exterior, and then they really are gems once you get to know them. I know it's super cheesy, I'm saying it and I'm like, I can't believe I even said that on the internet. What I will say is that it's interesting that when you look at rock gardens, and I was definitely getting a fungus that is starting to grow, and I Googled it and looked it up completely, and I just couldn't combat that. And anyway, it's killed a certain strain of the cacti in my gardens, and on my rock garden specifically. Kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to go against some of that stuff, and then it takes over. And it depends what type of gardener you are. Some people are let it be supernatural, and I'm a very I like my gardens clean and organized. And so when I see stuff starting, I have to get rid of it completely, the problem.
Yeah, I think we just trial and error,
Yeah.
It's definitely lots and lots of trial, and many errors, before you can really just get certain strains and certain vegetables to grow really nicely too. I'm actually going to take down moringa trees. I'll definitely look into that as well from my side.
That might be trying to my first day can look onto the powers will be on this thing.
Oh, we've got that.
Sorry, I apologize. Go ahead.
Oh, it says silence again. I'm not trying to talk too much because on my own lives I do that, so I'm trying to be quiet.
I know, I thought so too. And then I told Shadow the same thing, and Shadow said to me that I mustn't be silly about it, and I must just ramble on, because sometimes the rambling on can be entertaining. And then I end up just making a fool out of myself, which is for everybody's entertainment, which I enjoy. So I try to not do it all the time. I try to act, sophisticated and give other people a turn to talk and stuff like that. But sometimes I do end up, like Saul was saying there, just with the cheesy statements and stuff like that. And I do find that as well. You guys and the other two people, like Vancity is now doing the same thing that Shadow and Hebron are also doing. They're all like distracted. So what I'm going to do, if you guys want to do that, what I'm going to, what I'm going to do? I'm going to like distract myself. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm not going to talk to you guys either.
but the problem is I have a wrench, you see, so I have this moral obligation because I have a wrench to spread the word.
That's true. I know it is.
Okay, I'll stop.
So
I
don't need to put you on the spot at all.
Well, you do a great job too.
I know, but then if I'm the one filling that blank spot, what ends up happening is then I'll like ramble, right? And then I'll come up with all of these different things, and then like I hear myself talking too much, and I'm like, shush, like just stop talking so much, because that's a really awesome bit. Can I just say that quickly? That Herobrine, like that's. Am I saying Herobrine correctly? Herobrine?
Yeah, you are. You're good.
All right. Yeah.
It's Herobrine.
Sorry, I just want to. Yeah, because I was just going to say that's an amazing bag that you've got. It looks very sturdy. Yeah. It looks like quite a strong bag.
It is. It's better than the other one I had. That I had to replace this thing.
Yeah.
No weatherproofing on this thing? What the crap?
So I was just messaging with Oslander info in the message there in the chat, because both Mr. VP and I have both worked in Australia a lot. I've done a lot of work there, and Mr. VP has too. And what he used to do is he used to do these aerial wild boar calls where they'd fly around in a helicopter and shoot them, but he'd be flying and shooting them at the same time. And I have these crazy pictures of him flying around with one door open with a gun, like shooting. And then they used to muster.
That's like that only happens in action movies.
I know, and I have pictures. And then he used to muster like million cow in the outback, like million cattle farms. They would muster them all by helicopter, so they'd fly around and just round them all up, and then if they found a loose one, they'd have to chase it back, and just some crazy stuff. And then everywhere they'd go, they would have to camp, like they just sat down and sleep wherever they were. So you end up, he has all these stories about snakes and wild stuff like that.
I think. Yeah, Oslander said it sounds like Northern Territory.
Yeah. I put one video on our channel in the community chat of one video of some of his Australian work, but some of the stories are like pretty wild where he was working and stuff. He was there for like years.
I gotta go watch some on Twitch.
No problem.
I'll see you guys later.
All right, thank you for joining us.
Yep, you're welcome. I might do it again later. Thanks so long.
Okay, look forward to it. Chat to you soon.
See ya.
Yeah, I think having, there's a pilot that stays across.
Man. Good to see you. Welcome.
Yeah.
Simple Vlogger. Welcome. Homestead Aquarius. Good to see you and welcome. That was quick.
No. That's all good.
Yeah, it's great to meet a new person.
Yeah. Are you guys familiar with a berry that calls aronia berries?
Aronia berries. I'm looking that up now real quick.
ARONIA.
Yeah.
They are very nutritious. We have them here in Sweden, and they are very nutritious. You can make lemonade of them. You can make jam of them. You can make use them in a smoothie. Very nutritious.
Good to know. Here, I have a picture. Look.
That you see, it really is exactly like in the movies, like that's that's with Top Gun, like the attitude that Top Gun has as well to do that type of thing. That's the same type of personality.
Well, and he's like the quietest person ever when he comes on chat. He's just sitting there. It's like so funny.
Well, I was going to say that there's a pilot that stays across the road from us, and he also has like a very stoic, personality to a degree. Like a very, I don't know, like how else to explain it, but almost like a noble personality. Like the way that they just conduct themselves incredibly well. Like, I'm all over the place and making like silly jokes, like and that type of thing. And like it just seems like I'm all over the place, scattered where I'm talking. Whereas like my neighbor specifically, when he says something, he'll say something that really means something, rather than like just kind of rambling like I do. So I appreciate the different types of personalities. It's really cool. That's true, Auslander. Exactly. Give me 1 second. I just want to turn the fan on. Like it's pretty warm here at the moment.
That's okay, Guardian.
Switch me and Vancity just for a moment, if you can as well. Just for now, because while my camera's off, so that it looks more normal. Because if I'm at the top and my camera, there we go, much better.
Do you have
aronia berries in Canada?
I don't think so. No. How's your no storage system going, Shadow?
I got one shelf up. I have. I'm gonna assemble the second one on Tuesday next week. So that will be awesome.
Yeah. Do you have the things that you still want to store? Do you have them down there already, or do you still need to take them down at the moment, Shadow?
No, I need to finish everything. Make sure that they are secured and things like that. So I don't want to load it with stuff and then the shelves flip over. That would be not a good thing, especially if you have water on it.
Yeah, I can understand that as well. You raised a very good point with these aronia berries, and I was looking at them right now, and I actually saw there's a post here, and I'll read it quickly. It says that aronia berry growing in South Africa, which is obviously where I'm from as well. In recent years, aronia started to gain more and more popularity for its health benefits, ornamental value, and low maintenance. Although aronia is native to eastern US, where it is grown in the wild, most of the cultivated plants were developed in Russia and North European countries. Aronia berry is relatively new to South Africa, but as our market also tends to start focusing more on organic and healthier products, the market for this highly valued and nutritional berry is increasingly growing due to more research and findings, and to the fact that aronia berry also being labeled as one of the world's superfruits. It is also becoming a very attractive addition to other fruit crops. So that's pretty interesting to know that I can actually look into that as part of like a survival setting garden. So if it's growing here nicely, then that's really helpful. Thank you, Shadow.
You're very welcome. I just wanted to share it because the reason I had to look that up was one of my colleagues at work mentioned those berries, and she had had cancer, but she's doing okay now. She's back on work, and the docs get rid of the cancer. So, and she used those aronia berries every day in a smoothie. So,
and it helped. You think it? Well, obviously, yeah. I can gather what you're saying there about that as well, and I think that's also something that's going to be very helpful. I know that a friend of mine also was going through something very similar, and they had a lot of ginger and turmeric. But I don't want to. It's medical advice. I'm always cautious to give out, stern medical advice because you've got to be very careful when it comes to that. But I definitely think that with the aronia berry, that's going to be very helpful. Because at that stage, a person's obviously willing to try different things. They're willing to try like different methods to help themselves because it's really, yeah. I don't even say the word. I know it sounds very strange, but I try not to say the word CANCER. Like, you can ask my wife, it's very strange, but because of the impact that I've seen it have on like other people around me, not that I mind you saying it, I'm just saying, like, I believe that words sometimes have power as well, which sounds really silly, but it's just more specifically about that health impact, that I don't even like, I won't even say the whole word. So, and now the funny thing is, so this is what life does to me, right? Like, because I don't say the word, my little one that's on the way, her star sign is going to be CANCER. So it's going to be, so that's her star sign. So like, I can't avoid saying that word for much longer. It's not really something that I've got an option to do. But anyway, I know it's silly. It really is dumb.
Not silly.
Like,
no, it's not silly. It's not silly at all.
Against words or whatever.
So when you get time, Guardian, I suggest you go and check in your area if you can find those berries.
Yeah, I'm gonna. And then also Auslander mentioned, that's why I put in chat as well, the one that Auslander mentioned. Hey, by the way, Homestead Aquarius, always good to see you. And something that Auslander mentioned, and then I put it in chat here. If I scroll up for a second, and my mouse actually works the way that it's supposed to. Yeah, so that's the moringa trees, and then you were speaking about the aronia berry, and that's why those are two that I'm definitely going to look into, and that's great. If we hadn't had this conversation, I wouldn't have been informed about those two specifically. So it's pretty.
Yeah, I heard about the moringa tree. I heard about the, and I know you can buy the moringa here in Sweden. You can get them. I believe you get those in bags as a powder, I believe. And I think I'm gonna get some moringa actually because of the health benefits.
Yeah, I think that would be something that's pretty important. If we look into that, and it does have a large amount for a survival food, there'd be a reason why Auslander would be mentioning it as well, because he's definitely quite clued up when it comes to survivalism and self-reliance. So yeah, I don't know, there's just so much that you can do in a small space if you're willing to also work upwards, if you're willing to go up instead of just out. Yeah,
that's the key.
Yeah. And then have you guys seen sorry, I was going to say something about food forests, and also understanding like the way that if you can replicate the way that it is in nature, where you've got the canopy and the whole process, where they have the different levels of fauna, the flora, and then the different levels of the flora as well, with a forest canopy, and then just recreating food forests. I've seen some people on YouTube that have the most incredible gardens. Like, if you go into the avenue of gardens sometimes, look for people that have jungle type gardens as well. There are people that make the most incredible looking and like amazing survival gardens, and they spend so much time doing like some of the architecture in the gardens as well is amazing. So Auslander was saying, just plant moringa, don't waste time on that one, and each branch you cut each year, plant them, each branch will grow into a tree. I'd usually read a lot easier, but I have like the lights that I'm using at the moment that have been blaring in my eyes for like a while, because otherwise it just does that. I'm going to jump here in a moment because like I've been burning my eyes for quite a while at your guys' enjoyment. I've been doing that, but it's more than a pleasure just to have a bit of a chat with you guys. And sorry to randomly interrupt myself, but I just see that the lighting here is pretty rough. It's terrible. I know, I do it. It's terrible.
I love it.
But yeah, I'll definitely catch up with you guys soon. I am doing I'm doing a stream tomorrow night because you're not going to be up. I am doing a stream, but I'll only start a bit later, roughly around this time tomorrow night. I'm also going to be doing a bit of a live stream on my channel. I'm so close, just between us that are here, I'm super close to being monetized. I've got like 3,954 hours or something. So I'm like 40 hours away from the 4,000 thing, and then I've got my 1K subs. So I'm finally going to be an actual YouTuber, and then I can like walk around and be like, "What's up? I create content, man. How you doing? What's up?" But
well, I have in my watch hours. I have 2,575 watch hours.
No, it's good. There's a secret. I don't want to tell you my channel's secret, but I do have a little bit of a secret. It's not anything it's all YouTube standards. It's completely by the book. But I was just lucky. And one of the videos that is not me actually showing people how to do something, one of the videos that's just like, that's done really well on my channel just before I leave. It's the weirdest thing. And it's Strange Sounds in the Woods, right? Compilation of the strange sounds in the out of all the videos I've put energy into, because I've put lots of energy into some of my videos. I mean, like more than 200 hours of editing on some videos and researching that. I really have. But then out of all the videos, the video that does really well. So now what happens is, I was speaking to another guy the other day, survival, I think it's called Survival Living. Not Survival Living. Survival Living is really cool, by the way. It's called How to something. I'm going to shoot myself in the foot for remembering later only. But anyway, and this guy that's pretty like, you know, up there in the community as well. Quite a nice, you know, somebody that's been running the channel for a long time, knows what he's doing. He sees like me chatting in the channel every now and again, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to go to this guy's channel and see what he does. So he goes to my channel and he's got it set on most popular. And then if you go to most popular, the videos at the top are the strange sounds in the woods. So all he sees, he goes to and it's like the most embarrassing thing ever. So I'm just saying, be cautious what videos you make that could get popular, because there's a lot more to me than strange sounds in the woods. Anyway, goodbye, everybody, and stay safe out there. I love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Can I mention something that anybody who's on Instagram, which I don't know, we're not over there very much, but it's the Women Who Prep Month. So there's all sorts of stuff going on over there. If someone searches the hashtag Women Who Prep Month, there's every day an event.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a thing. Where's
I'm running out of browsers and tabs because of the binge. Oh boy. He has a such sense of humor.
So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great. You're well on your way there, Shadow. That's a lot of hours of watching.
Yeah, it is. And when I began to do more videos after my absence, I had, I believe, 400 watch hours or something, and that was last year. I began doing videos again. I believe it was in August. I believe. So I still have some time, but I have to work hard for it.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot just because, too, at the end of the year, it refreshes the hours.
Yeah. The best stream I ever had when it comes to views, that was the live stream I had with Provident Prepper. I had 1,186 views on that stream.
Wow.
I just, when I checked, I was curious on how many views did I get on that. 1,100 what?
Yeah.
That's not possible. Okay.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And most of my streams are over 100, 200, 300 views.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that is interesting.
Yeah, that's great.
My streams, I get more views on my streams than I get on my videos.
Yeah, and it depends probably where your audience. You probably have a lot of audience in North America, and then maybe you put it up during like your time over there. Like you put it on.
Yeah. When I checked my the analytics, it said most of my viewers when they are on YouTube and watch my content is between, I believe, 12 noon and 3 p.m. That is tough when you work from 8 to 10-hour day to 6 p.m. So that's why I quit my job earlier on Wednesdays. That's why I try to keep the videos up.
Yeah.
Between noon and 3, but it ain't that easy.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's watching it, it does help if you are watching someone that you enjoys video. If you let it play to the end, that really helps.
I always watch videos to the end. I always do that because I know it's wrong to just watch 1 minute and then just, this was not fun. We go to another video. So
yeah,
that destroys more than doing good.
Yeah. 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 I always try to leave comments on the videos that I watch. I always watch everyone's videos to the end. So if I click on that video and it's a long one, I'm committed.
Yeah, if that is an 8-hour video, okay. Wait a minute.
What do you have coming down the way for new topics that you're gonna have a part 2 for your storage, right?
Yeah, when I get the second shelf up. So that will be nice. And the third part would probably be when I put stuff on the shelves.
Yes. Well, that'll be good.
Yeah. That will actually be awesome. And I also need it's cool place in the basement in my storage unit. So, and I have no windows. No windows. So that is really good. Especially if you're gonna store water, you don't need to cover it with a tarp or something. So I don't need that. But the problem is it's a little bit the air down there are a little bit more humid, so I need to get moisture absorbers to put there. So
I see. Oh, sorry.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Guardian has a question. What are your thoughts on the impact of intelligence on preparedness? Do you mean intellectual intelligence, or do you mean artificial intelligence? Or what do you mean? Preparedness, veteran. The majority of idiotic comments are from people without content. Yeah, or people who don't really watch the video, because a lot of times, as you know, people will put up a video and say, here's 10 ideas. This is not a full list. There's definitely lots more that you can have, but here are 10 ideas. And then there's always the comments that say, but you missed this, this, and this. It's like, but the person said in their video that this is an example, and it's not a full list. It's a lack of listening, it's a lack of comprehension of the material and not listening to the material. Okay, so Guardian, what are your thoughts on the impact of intelligence on preparedness?
It's intellectual.
Yeah, I mean, intellectual intelligence. The thing is you probably have to have a little bit of insight to care about preparedness. You have to have a little bit of curiosity, right? So, um, and wanting to learn, right? Because no matter what way a person learns preparedness things, whether it's reading books, whether it's YouTube, it takes curiosity, it takes reflection of what's going on, and it's a certain type of person probably to do that, because it's learning, it's education. It doesn't matter if it's formal education or not. Is that what you're after? Oh, Lewis says you should get a dehumidifier.
Well, that is a little minor problem there, because a dehumidifier needs electricity to work. That is the problem, and the problem is I don't have anything that I can put the cable in, so that's the problem. If I have a very, very, very long extra cable, maybe I could get it. But in that case, I have to drill a hole through the door, and the landlord would not be that happy. So that's why I need to get moist absorbers. And I can get ones that can take care of 37 square meters. That much space, they can take the moist out of the air. So that is pretty good. If I put 2 in there, it would help a lot.
I just noticed, I wanted to mention, Nene's Prepping Kitchen is a really, really great channel, and Little House in the Big Woods is a new channel in the chat there, who's Nene's niece. So we need to show some new channel support.
Yeah. Welcome, Dibble Frog, Uncle Al. It's good to see you. Welcome, Preparedness Veteran. Good to see you, but too, buddy. Preparedness Veteran has a great channel too.
Well, I have to go and be a parent now.
Of course. Well, that goes first. The kids goes first.
Yeah, there is on Women in Preparedness Month topic yesterday was why people prep, and that's an interesting question. I'm sure we all have our reasons, and in my list, one of them was being a parent.
Yeah.
Just to give him the best chance to try to, I think, try to set him up as well as with some knowledge for success in terms of just surviving. That's the goal. So
yeah.
Thanks, Guardian. Mr. Van is currently in northern Canada installing power lines with helicopter, but I can't get any. It's really on the DL the works. I can't show any videos, which is annoying because it's pretty cool stuff that they're doing up there.
Yeah, and Jack has a point there too. Well, that is one of my reasons.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm just reading the chat. Okay, I'm gonna go and leave you to your spotlight of your chat, and then I'll sneak in and maybe drop some links and listen to whoever else pops on here. I'm anxious to see. Oh, hey Bob.
Hey
Hello.
Bob.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning for you.
Yeah, just
It's
yeah.
more like good evening here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna peace out and let you guys have a good
All
time,
right.
and I'll see you next time.
Peace. Hang in
Bye.
there. Keep on
Yeah.
prepping. Yeah.
You too. Keep
Yeah.
stacking to the rafters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's an awesome lady.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
has,
You raised a good question. Why do people prep? Well, you know what really I've been doing this for a long time. I'm prior military and all that, and was when the Donald was running for election, and that's when the Pacific Northwest just went crazy.
yeah.
You know, and the slogans that the no goods, the ones who light fires and break windows, were shouting in the streets were the same Marxist communist slogans that my wife heard overseas when she was growing up, and she knew what's coming. She knew. She's already lived through it, you know. So
Yeah.
that's when we really went, okay, you know, we've already had some food and all that set aside, and that's when the protecting the family and what we have was the next big step, because we live in a suburban area that we're surrounded by hundreds of people day and night, and that was one of my wife's priorities was being able to guard the family, you know, because she's lived through it, and then you know it's kind of funny how it works out. As it just settled into the way it should be, is that she provides the majority of the funds. I have a pension, and it's a pretty good pension, but funds, and I provided all the logistics, like online or getting things on order online, and on and on. We're a good team. I think that's a good something that folks should look into if you're going to start doing this, is team up with your spouse as much as possible. Try to divide the work up, you know, so one person is not overwhelmed, you know, but that's important, having someone who's got your back, you know.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. You need that. You can't
Mm-hmm.
stand alone. That's not a good idea.
Yeah. Well, like many of my subscribers know that we're going to go overseas and all that, and example is how you build on what you have is that I'm sending these large boxes overseas into our new home over there, and I cleared off some shelf space with photo albums and things like that have been in storage, and that empty space is now going to get filled up with noodles. You know, noodles, more beans,
Rice.
right? You know, that empty space won't be empty for too long. It'll get filled up.
Yeah. You need to use every space you can find and get.
Yeah.
And if you have a bookshelf and you see
certainly
what kind of things do I really need in this bookshelf? Do I really need these things? No.
Nope.
You take them away, put in food in there instead, and you have more space.
Certainly. Yeah, one of the highest priorities for anyone anywhere on the planet is food and water. That's really very, very high priority. But in my area, with so many unpredictable people around, but one of the highest priorities is home security and protecting the family and all that. So
yeah, that is really important, especially if you live in a neighborhood that has a lot of gangs and other kind of people.
Yeah.
That are not that nice.
Yeah. one suggestion I would have to anyone out there who might be starting in this, or just a suggestion, is that we live in a 2-story house, and like our food and our water is not stored in one place. It's stored on both stories and in different places in the house. And it's all out of sight as much as possible. So if we have a visitor come over, they don't have any idea that we've got food stored. Do you understand what I mean? It's not. You can't just walk by the house and look through a window and say, "Hey, look at that! He's got stack up of noodles and rice and beans," and try to keep it camouflaged, keep it out of sight as much as possible.
Yeah, that can be pretty tough, especially if you live in a small apartment on, like, let's say 30 square meters in size. That would be pretty tricky to hide. You can't do that. You don't have enough space for it.
Yeah. And at least you could start off with like a blanket, throw a blanket over some of the stuff, so that if someone walks by and peeks through the window, they don't obviously see what you have. They would have to come into the building and then lift the blanket to see what that stack of stuff is.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we did was one of the closets is, I went through it, and I don't need this, don't need that, and put inside their necessities, and took all the junk, got rid of it, and then just closed the door. Once again, that goes back to where someone would physically have to go inside the house and actually open and rummage through stuff.
Yeah. And those who break in just don't go through the closets. They don't.
And if they do, they're not looking for packs of dried noodles and bags of beans. They're looking for coins, cash, jewelry.
And if you have a coin collector or something, for some people collect coins, and they have a high value on their collections, because if they steal them, they can make a lot of money on it.
Yeah,
because of the high value, because they sell the whole set.
Yeah, they do.
The whole collection, because it's more money to sell the whole collection than split it up in pieces and sell it that way.
Yeah. Whereas, like you and I, if we get in a desperate situation and we need to sell those coins, we'll take each coin, and maybe if they're silver, we would have to cut them up into little pieces. Here's some silver. I'll trade you this and that. But for them, they don't like to keep things like that in their possession. They want to get rid of it right now.
Yeah.
Pawn it off, sell it, whatever they do.
Preparedness Veteran has a good point too. For discretion in small areas, check out furniture with internal storage, sofas, chairs, tub chairs.
Yep. Smart guy right there.
Yeah, he has a great channel, by the way.
Okay. There's a suggestion that I keep going back to: tools. Learn how to make things yourself and learn how to weld. That's really, really important. Is welding. Is that you can buy those fireproof boxes for your documents and different things.
Yeah.
And I would suggest you have some of those, and then weld a steel box and put those documents or those little safes in a secured box that's bolted to the floor.
Yeah.
I know a guy who did just that. I know a guy who did that. I got steel, I bent it and welded it into inside of a cage, and then bolted it to the wall and to the floor, so that you can keep valuables in there for trade later if you need to, or just for everyday storage. Because I understand that some of those strong boxes that folks have, a lot of times, when the thief has the ability to do it, they'll just pick it up and carry it out of the house, and it's gone.
Yeah. I know how to weld. I can weld pipes. So.
See, you have an advantage that a lot of people don't. That you have the skills to be able to use the tools.
Yeah. But it was a long time ago I welded. But if I try it again, I will get into it. I might be a little bit rusty, but I will get into it.
Yeah.
Again. It took me, what was it, 1 year and 3 months when I was finished welder. So.
Oh, good, very good. I had to learn welding by myself. YouTube videos started me off, and then get in here and find scrap steel and start testing and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. That's how I learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really important. But I say that most of the time, as far as losing what you have that, thievery is most likely during the week when you're at work is when you're going to lose your stuff. I live in the Seattle area, the West Coast, and addiction is tearing our cities to pieces, and that's the biggest threat right there to my safety, my family's safety, etc. Is the people who are addicted, and regular street violence is the biggest threat to us. As far as everything going south, I don't know if that would happen or not. I hope not. But I'm ready for it as much as I can be.
Welding is almost like riding a bike. Just get an automatic mask. Otherwise, you will need a bag of potatoes for 3 days and nights of pure painful life.
Yeah. I've got a good auto dart helmet right there, and you know who lovely lady of Fishes and Loaves Live is. She requested, Bob, can you just make a real quick start from the bottom up, like I showed my little welding table right here. And then another video I made one called a window defender, made out of nails, so you can nail it into the windowsill. And I think that might be more of that stuff coming on my channel. But yes, it is. It's like riding a bike. Once you learn, you just gotta get in there and get after it. If you make an ugly weld, oh well.
Well, I was pretty good at it, so I don't complain. So
yeah, for me, as long as it suits the need, if it suits the need, I don't care if it's pretty or up to spec or anything like that, as long as it suits the need.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Auslander, you're right. Yeah. What is it? A welder what's that old saying? A welder I'm not, but a grinder I am, or something like that. Rookie welders, because I'm not. I never really went to school for any welding, but back years ago when I first started, I used to take real care and grind it and make it all polished. And now it's like, well, that'll hold. That's good enough,
I learned to weld with arch welding, gas, MIG-MAG, and TIG.
Yeah.
And the most difficult material I have ever welded in, that was aluminum.
Oh yeah, I never tried that.
I can tell you that is a pain in the neck, because if you have it too heat, it just melt, and you get a huge hole and you can't repair it.
Yeah.
You have to cut that piece off and start all over again.
Oh man, yeah.
Trust me, that is a nightmare to weld in aluminum. So that was the worst thing I ever did. But I had to learn to do it. But I never get that good welding in an aluminum. But
yeah, I haven't tried that. For my wire feed or MIG wire feed, you guys, some people might be familiar or not, but wire feed is called MIG welding.
Yeah,
that's what I have. And if I welded aluminum, I would need a new MIG gun with a spool right there, not coming off of the machine. But anyone out there who might want to begin with welding, mine is called an auto set welder, where all I have to do is measure the thickness of the steel.
Okay.
And then I set it to the gauge. The gauge thickness is, there's a dial, set it to the gauge, and that will get me real close to the basic need for welding these two pieces together.
Well, I never heard about that one before. So, but these auto welders are pretty expensive, I guess.
Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. I started off years ago with inexpensive Chinese welders, and over the years I just kept getting better tools, and it takes time,
I purchased some of those aluminum welding rods that work with an ordinary blowtorch, but I have not used them yet. The ads for them make it look too easy, too good to be true.
Well, yeah. I've seen where a video here on YouTube where someone took brazing rod. You know what brazing is, and he used MAP gas in a canister of MAP gas, and at home he learned how to do brazing with just ordinary MAP gas you can get from the hardware store. I thought, man, that guy's clever. I've never tried it, but MAP gas gets much hotter than propane, but not as hot as acetylene. I mean, I'll show you my welder over here, but I think basic tools is one of the things that folks should be adding when they start prepping, so you can make what you want. I didn't have my shower. I didn't have my shower yet. I just finished breakfast, but just a second here. I'll show you this auto set welder. Tools are, man, they're just, as far as getting things secured, they're almost as important as food and water and whatever else you might need, I think.
Yeah.
I know I talk about this topic quite a bit, but it's very important to me. Is this? Let me see if I can get the laptop turned around so you can see it. Let's see.
Yeah,
that's it right there. And an auto set, this is the gauge. I can still adjust the temperature and the feed separately, but I just got it on auto set. So I measure the gauge. Let's see, I measure the gauge and set that right there. Whatever the gauge is, it went 18 gauge, 16 gauge, 14, 20, down to 20 gauge, and turn it on and begin. And then I picked up a good helmet, Miller Auto Set or Auto Dark helmet.
Yeah.
And start from there. I used to have a Chinese helmet, but that went away with the Chinese welder. We set aside some cash by living a conservative, quiet life.
Yeah.
Put some cash aside, and that's when Mrs. does the books. She does the bills, and she said, "Okay, hon, go get it." That's just anyone out there who might be thinking, because there's a lot of things out there that you want or need for securing the house and etc. And you may not be able to buy, or you may be able to afford to buy it, but there's some things you don't want delivered to your house and have your neighbors see what you're doing,
Yeah. That is a problem when you live in an apartment.
That's correct. Yeah. And I'm just one step above an apartment. This is a rental house, and I'm surrounded by rental houses all the way around me. And, no matter what I bring in or out of here, there's always someone walking their dog, passing by and driving by, and neighbors who live real close.
And the problem is you don't know how much your neighbors care about what you get home.
Mm-hmm. If you live in a regular residence where there's permanent neighbors, you can get kind of a feel for their personalities more or less.
Yeah.
But like example, the house that's right there on the corner, they've only been there for less than a year, and I don't know them.
It takes time.
Yeah, and by the time I get to know some of these people, they're transient. They've already saved up enough to go to another place. So that's one thing that's a very big concern for apartment and townhouse residents is you just don't know your neighbors,
Yeah, and that can be a problem because if you see someone move in and then if the person moves out after 3 months, and after that, the next one moves in, and it might turn out to be a bad guy.
Yeah, or the guy who just moved out, if you're not careful with being kind of covert about what you're doing, if you're not careful about it, he'll remember you, and he knows where you live, and he knows what your working hours are. And that guy who just moved out might wait till you go to work, kick your door, and come in and take your stuff. So being discreet is really important, in my opinion, if you live in the suburb areas.
That I agree. That is important, really important. And I live on the top floor, so that is a little bit tough to peek in.
Yeah.
Unless you have a very, very long ladder.
True.
But I had some problems. What I didn't believe anybody could do. One morning when I woke up, and on my window in my living room, I saw 3 eggs smashed on my window.
Oh,
And I didn't get how the heck 3 eggs hit my window. I I live on the top floor.
how do you do that?
Yeah,
Phew.
yeah, I don't believe it. Ah,
Probably some high school kids messing around going, I bet I can hit it. Who knows?
to throw it up from the ground up to the top floor, it's nearly impossible to get the correct height.
Yeah.
You and the power to get the eggs up.
Hmm.
They must have something else that could give them enough power and hit the
That
window.
could be. Yeah. Could be they had some kind of a slingshot or something. Or.
Probably.
Hmm.
And the strange thing is, I didn't hear anything at all. And I sleep very light, so I can hear uh, everything around my apartment, what's going on. But I
Yeah.
didn't hear those 3 eggs hit the window because that must be a pretty huge bang.
Yeah, it would be. They probably did it when you were not home, most likely.
This was a Saturday. I went to bed, and that when I went to bed at Saturday, the eggs were not on my window. When I woke up on a Sunday morning,
Oh,
they
my
were
Lord.
there.
What the heck?
So I'm impressed that they could throw up 3 eggs. But they need probably a slingshot or something.
Somebody on a baseball team who can really throw a ball.
Yeah, probably.
A major league pitcher,
But that makes me think, the point here is that makes me a little bit worried. If somebody can throw something up that high,
Yeah.
what can people do with something else, like a hand grenade?
Yeah.
And a hand grenade would smash the living room window
Oh, yeah.
with no problem.
Yeah, you know how heavy they are. They're very heavy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you have enough training, a well-trained can throw a grenade that high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that is a well-trained soldier, basically, who has a lot of experience, can do that.
Yeah. Someone who's in shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You living in an apartment and me living in what we call a townhouse, a rental house. We have different needs than the people who have a large garden and have property, and it's prepping as a kind of an individual way of performing it. We have concerns about the human threat, and they have concerns about wildlife threats, and but I still stick with my theory on you have more of a day-to-day threat from thievery and assault than anything else. I mean, I can't. Who knows? But I can't really see that the world's all going to come to an end, and we're going to be cannibals or anything like that. I can't really see that happening, but it's possible. But who knows?
Yeah. So if, let's say, if everything goes south and some people wants to do something, and if they believe something and they throw up something to get in, smash the living room window, that would suck, really.
that's kind of unsettling to know that someone out there has the ability to do that, from the ground all the way up to the third floor. Now, what else could that person possibly be capable of?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're thinking. I do.
Because that would be a huge problem.
Yeah, it would be. It would be a real threat to your safety.
Yeah, and buy 5 mil steel plates and put in front of the window. Well, it's not a good idea.
Yeah. And
Too heavy.
like you and I, we have to answer to a landlord. This is not our property. We just simply can't do that, But there is an option that people can do. Example is make a few things like that ahead of time and then store them store them where they're needed.
Yeah.
That's an option, because I've got things to defend the windows and the doors, but I can't install them. You know what I mean? I cannot install it. I can't, because if my landlord sees that, because I did have some decorative scrolling steel in the living room windows. I made it all myself. I thought it was nice, but as soon as the landlord saw that, oh, no, you can't have that here. All right, just it was decorative. It was rolled out. It was all handmade scrolling, beautiful. I thought, but no, you can't have that. What if the fire department needs to break the window to save your life? Well, it's your property. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take it down. I don't feel good about it because of the number of addicted people in the area.
Yeah.
I'll take it down, but either get thrown out or abide by their rules. So you and I have that in common, but that is an option, is make things ahead of time, put them in place, so that if something really drastic does happen, you have it available, and they'll give you a little more security for that moment of need.
I'm no preparedness veteran. I don't have any contingencies for escaping your apartment in a height, because I have at least 15, 20 meters down to the ground. So I should get a ladder, a folding ladder you can attach to the balcony, and then
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
You can buy those in different lengths. I believe 5 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters, I believe. Or well, they are in different lengths anyway. So I had in mind to get one, actually, and those are mostly if it would begin to catch fire.
Yeah. They might sell them in Sweden. I know they have them in the States, that they're on a chain and they roll up into a bundle.
Yeah.
And do they have those in Sweden also?
Yeah, something similar to those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody is something. Well, I think it was Homestead Aquarius. Hope it's almost hard to find the right. Well, I believe it was Homestead Aquarius. If I, it was. He asked me if I grow some veggies in my apartment. No, not yet, but I had in mind to begin to do so and put them on the balcony later. So
yeah, Yeah, the difficulty with living in a townhouse, like I have a neighbor, she's tried year after year of growing vegetables on the outside of her house. And every year, as soon as something is ready, the tomatoes or the corn, or she grows it in pots, the no, people up to no good come by and steal every bit of it, rip the plants out, and throw them on the ground. So, and if you live in a rental space, you can't grow enough food in an apartment to be able to sustain yourself. It just you just don't have the room for it, you know.
Yeah.
The
Jack
kind.
said,
Oh, go ahead.
Jack says, after living through all sorts of man-made HTF, I was still not against multi-level buildings. But after 18 months of almost daily quakes in 2020, I say single floor dot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. Yeah. I see a lot of folks on YouTube that have different methods of preparing as far as food is concerned, and um, my method is I, I store away what I eat every day.
Yeah.
You know, just keep it simple, and
Yeah.
I don't go and buy a large quantity all at once. Um, Example is I like things like cans of stewed beef, and prepare it's already prepared. Just open the can and warm it up, or even eat it out of the can if you must. But buy two or three extra ones when you do your normal grocery shopping. That's how I've done it all these years. And like I've got some on my bug out cart. Soon I'll have to rotate that out, eat it, and replace it. You know. But I see a lot of emphasis on people that want to stack up tons of the freeze dried food and the MREs. And that's a good idea, but um, an example is an old friend of mine that I used to work with before I retired. He bought boxes of MREs.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, but he also came back to me later and said, I ate that stuff for a couple of days and I can't crap. I'm bound up, you know.
Yeah.
So, and most I could tell him was, well, try my method. Just eat what you eat every day. So you've already tested it and you know it now. But the damn fool, he went and bought months of food all at once. And now he finds out that his system can't tolerate it because he's about my age. You know, when you get
Yeah.
older, your digestive system doesn't work that well. So I was like, well, live and learn, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I have heard about that can happen with MREs if you eat them
Mm-hmm.
frequently.
Yeah. I'll give you an example of there's a I don't live by movies. Movies are movies, but you can learn a few things from movies. Is uh, there's an Afghan war movie called The Outpost. It's where
Yeah.
a cavalry company was way down in the bottom of the valley, and they're surrounded in Afghanistan, but they
Yeah.
showed a very quick glimpse of where the men ate, and they ate mostly MREs, but these are strong young men in their 20s,
Yeah.
but they also had a little kitchen with a cook, an army cook, and they showed a very quick example of where the cook was preparing fresh eggs. So even the army knows that you've still got to supplement MREs with any kind of hot food to give a varied diet of it, to help. And the army knows that these soldiers are young and they're in their 20s, and even they need a little bit of variation in their diet.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Guardian, you just popped up again.
Hey, Guardian.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying the conversation.
Okay.
My lighting's not too great at the moment, so I don't want to like bring up the cam, and then just makes my face look even worse than it usually does. So I just,
What?
like I really, I've just got to say, I love your cart so much. Like The Road is like not even joking. The Road is one of my favorite movies, right? And if the cart, yeah, in the movie The Road, if that cart was more upgraded, it would have been such a different situation completely. I absolutely love the cart that you got. I just wanted to say that as well. Like, I really enjoyed that.
Oh, my bug out cart, you mean?
Yeah, I'm the biggest fan. I think it's
thank
so
you.
awesome.
Yeah, I've seen it in movies where sometimes they'll use a shopping cart or a trolley. But do you know how loud those things are?
They are loud. I know.
Yeah, you can be heard from blocks away that you're pushing a shopping trolley.
So you made yours more quiet? Yours is like put on suspension to a degree and or like more off-roadish tires, because I've seen that part of it. But
Yeah,
yours is a lot more quiet than a regular one would be.
absolutely. Yeah, it has pneumatic tires. It's a three-wheeled baby stroller for jogging. I got the inspiration just at an instant
Yes.
one day.
Yes.
I saw.
I love the
It was,
story. Continue.
yeah, it was a good-looking lady, good-looking mom running by. I'm like, man, look at that butt and legs. Wait, she's running with that three-wheeled stroller. I went, there it is, right there, and I can weld, I can cut steel, and all that, and that's just how it is. And I was like, there it is. So I went to a secondhand store, bought one for $20, disassembled it, reassembled it in my own way, and added a couple of pieces of steel to reinforce it. And there it is. I did recently spend $60 and get new inner tubes. I took it to a bicycle repair shop to put the inner tubes in it, and I got all three brand new inner tubes, and put it back together, and there it is.
Yeah, that's a nice piece you made
Yeah,
and
there's
completed.
also, because if you think about that as well, Shadow, there's another aspect to it completely, where with that type of cart specifically, I don't know what your thoughts are on it, Bob, but would you, if it came down to last resort and the cart was pretty much, what you'd have to use to move and mobilize, would you would obviously avoid roads. I understand that, specifically during the day. But would you travel on the roadside in the evening, like during the late hours of the night? Would that be your preferred? Because I know that traveling during the day is bad for dehydration and that.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
My thoughts are, I learned from my father-in-law. I married his oldest daughter. They're Filipinos. They've already lived through Civil War. They know what it's like. And he taught me. I mean, every year he would teach me. We would sit there and have man-to-man talks about the Civil War and how to survive it. And I learned from him that when the areas would be saturated with the communists, and the war would begin wherever, because they lived outside for a long time, and when the area would be saturated with war, he had a cart that he had to make out of junk, and the way they traveled was at nighttime, as quietly on the roads, because living in the jungle, the mountainous jungles of the Philippines, you can't go off road with anything. I mean, you can't, you know. But that's how he traveled, was him and the whole family, all at one unit, with everything they owned on that cart during the nighttime, as quiet as possible, non-threatening. Don't be shouting out obscenities or screaming at the kids, and have all the kids hang on to the cart while they would just push it down the road. And even the baddest of the bad guys recognize that these guys are no threat. They're not looking to fight anyone. They're just looking to stay alive. And that's what the recommendation I would have for anyone is: follow that, because it worked for my father-in-law when he had 4 or 5 little kids in tow and a wife. Nothing threatening. Go at night. Be as quiet as you can. As far as here in the
sorry, continue.
Here in the Northwest, trying to travel off-road, I live in a very mountainous part of the United States. Trying to travel off-road, you could make it for a while, but you're not going to get too far because it's just, I mean, the mountains here are jagged. They're just up, straight up and down, but that's my recommendation, is travel by road at night in a non-threatening manner. You just have your wife and kids hold on to the cart, and you're trying to survive, and most people won't mess with you.
I think also, dependent on kind of where you are, and how far into a disaster type scenario you are. But I think that what you'd be able to do is, if there are lights and cars that you can see approaching, it is, I think, best practice to completely avoid contact with people during certain stages. So then you could essentially be able to slip into the woods, in the forest, or the bush near the end of the road. But just also the problem with obviously traveling through the bush veldt over here, which would be the equivalent of your forest or woods. The problem with it would definitely be some of the snakes and just certain injuries, because even if you have low lighting, your lighting's also giving you away pretty easily. And that's something that I saw quite recently when I was watching a survival. I forgot which channel it was on specifically, because I watch quite a lot of survival channels. And absolutely. It's more than a pleasure, Rob. You've supported me for the longest time. And if you ever have anything that I could potentially help with, you let me know and I'll jump right to it. When it does come to, traveling at night, it's obviously the danger of also having injuries. But what I was saying is that I recently learned on a channel where I'm taking like a headlamp and just putting a piece of duct tape over it, like your more lighter shade of duct tape. So you're more like your pale shape of duct tape, and putting that over and then putting that over your headlamp so that you can see around you. You'll increase the visibility of what you can see, but you're not going to really give yourself away as easily.
That's good thinking. I like the simple things like that. Very smart. Very smart.
I never thought about that before.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and it's pretty effective, and it's nice for concealment. Obviously, with your Dakota fire hole, I love the Dakota fire hole because you can obviously make sure that you can just have concealment, and a lot of the best combat is combat you can avoid. So I'm definitely all for recommending that people avoid conflict rather than, because you can only have a certain amount of successful conflict anyway. So if you're going out and looking for conflict, it's going to get you eventually.
Oh yeah, it certainly will. Yeah, but my cart and on my cart I've got one small suitcase full of food, and it's camouflage painted, and then I got my military rucksack, the big one, that's camouflage painted. So those 2 items can be removed from the cart and they can still be portable, but everything on there is camouflage, so that, like you said there, Guardian, if you've got a ditch, in the US that's what we call get off the road, get out of sight, I can roll that thing out into the weeds somewhere or wherever it might be, and it's not easily seen. But I would say that if you're out there on the move, try to avoid wearing camouflage clothes. Because that could be perceived as threatening to some people. You might be seen as National Guard or a civilian militia or something like that. But having your gear camouflaged, I think that's a very good idea. So you can just throw it and come back later and pick it up.
Well, that's why a lot of your bushcrafters will always recommend, when you're going out into the woods specifically, and we were taught the same thing during Scouts, where you always try and have as bright of a color as you can. So then you'll always try and wear luminescent clothing like as bright as possible, so that in the case of search and rescue, that people can find you a lot easier. Because
certainly,
even if you go out there with camo, firstly, you should never really be out there by yourself. Like that's just something, you know, a lot of the time that is big, really counterproductive, and can get you into a lot of trouble, because then you can't really call for help and stuff. But yeah, so it comes the cart specifically, and that type of thinking. Something that's so important too is that it's not how quick you move. Sometimes moving slow and steady, but making sure that you just have continuous movement. You know, it's the hare and the hare and the turtle, the hare and the tortoise. You know, the hare and the tortoise race. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I certainly do.
Yeah, just continuing at that pace. Sorry, I'm rambling too much here. I apologize.
No, you're all right. You're making good sense. You're making good points.
Yeah, you really do.
I also like hearing your guys' points though. And if I end up just rambling and going on and on, it's like I love giving like other people, you know, the floor as well, and not being bombastic and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good tip on the duct tape though. That's very smart.
Yeah, I like to, you know, I like to have the concept and idea that in the worst case scenario, over a long enough period of time, with enough knowledge, that you could essentially rebuild a lot of things if you just have good community and people that you can trust, and if you can just look at some of the ways that you can go really, like, from creating everything. That's where the channel like Primitive Technology and I both are like always in supporting that channel, because you can learn so much, and you can essentially, like, long enough period, recreate everything. So
well, I've seen some of those videos about primitive technology, and that's pretty much how my wife grew up. You know, I mean, for years she didn't even have shoes. She had nothing.
Yeah,
starving, you know.
I know that channel. I have. I think I'm subscribed to that channel actually. And that dude is really good to build things of nothing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have a knife with him.
Exactly. And he shows that you can make pretty much everything, and that knowledge will always conquer gear, and that gear will eventually break. But the thing is, the whole idea, right, of the whole like inch bag, I'm never coming home bag, and that cart specifically, is just to really be able to dampen that blow from the conditions of living, like the being dependent on the grid right now, to like long-term survival. Like over a long enough period, you would start to look at more like primitive ways to be able to just sustain yourself and live. And it's I don't know. I think that there's pros and cons to that whole thinking as well. Like, you know, we had life has gotten a bit too quick, and I think that in some ways it would suck completely. Don't get me wrong. I know how much it would actually suck, but like there are some good aspects to it. Some things that we've lost track on. Like, when last did you have a complete full day to yourself, where you weren't around any technology, where you were just spending time gardening, like, for an entire day, and didn't have any like work obligation, or, you know, some stress about something that you saw in the media or something in the news? Like, when last did you just have a real day, like a day where none of that mattered? Like, it's like we've lost our way in a lot of ways, and that's why like the SHTF thing does have a certain attraction to it. But yeah, that's just
and if you spend too much time on mass media, like kind of like I am now, or at least it's morning, but most mornings I spend some mass media. And if you do that too much, then your body becomes very soft, and that puts you at a disadvantage if something happens where you need to depend upon your body. I'm mostly speaking to the young people. I'm old, and I'm telling you the truth. You know, if it came to run for your life, I ain't gonna make it. You know, just the way it is, and I know that, because I'm also old. You know, but too much time spent on the couch is never a good thing.
I agree.
Yeah. I was also going to say I agree. Continue, Shadow.
Well, I think I had something on my mind, but I I just lost it.
That's
Well,
okay.
it pops up sooner
We
or
were
later.
we were speaking about was it something to do with the roads, being on and off the roads, or was it something to do with the carts? Potentially, it could have been about the carts, or also like moving in the between the bush velds as well. That was also a topic we were talking about. Okay, sorry, sorry for distracting you.
Mhm.
I apologize if it was me.
Well, now I remember. To
There we go.
the primitive technology. Well,
Yes.
as you said, he can show us you can build things from nothing. But problem with people today in the modern world is that we are so used to have our technology and every advanced tools and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And people think that no, you can't build a house with nothing, with no tools, nothing. That's impossible. And I think the modern people are too afraid to try.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm.
It's because specifically with families, that's where it becomes a lot more challenging. Because it's easier for you if you were, for example, like an independent or like a bachelor or something like that. It's easier to kind of think about those type of things. But families do have usually like a lot. If you want to consider like proper preparedness, like the family requirements are the biggest things that you should really be focusing on. Like things that like really you don't always contemplate as much, like for just general like healthcare and medication for like the entire family, and looking at how you'd be able to supplement certain things. That it goes pretty deep, and you got to understand that also, like how do you really make sure within preparedness that your bug out gear and clothing for your family, how do you make sure that it's a large enough clothing that they'd still be able to grow into it if need be, but it would still be very durable. And like if you don't have access directly to, and these are the type of things that's why I've spent in my preparedness room. I've spent legitimately, I would say upwards of like, I'd say a little bit over 1,200 hours clocked in my prepper room, where I've literally like just been reorganizing things, trying to like craft different things as well, trying to make things lighter, trying to compact things all the time. It's been so much time of packing, and
Smart.
it's something that I hardly ever talk about is the packing sides of things, and repacking, unpacking, organizing, sorting out, seeing how I can upgrade certain things, going and field testing some of the items and equipment as well, and then seeing which items fail, and then having to go and redo it all over again, and then
You're
go
serious.
and repack.
Yeah.
So
you're serious about this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, field work is huge. Like field work is something that shows you, because I've had how much like tools break on me, and then if those broke on me in like a long-term SHTF, I'd be completely stuffed.
Yeah, I call it revisit. That's when I'll I'll give you an example. Is I've got a bolt-out vest that's got, like, my missus and I are on high blood pressure medication. It's got some of that, some basic needs to be able to get out of here, to avoid problems, lay down someplace and hide. And I have a vest set up for that, and a couple other portable items, a bag with some food stuff. But example is, I took old candle wax and when I coated the vest and the hat to make it rainproof, because it rains all the time here. And then to make sure that it worked, I waited till a dark, rainy night. I put all that gear on and I walked around the area in the middle of the night in a pounding down rainstorm and tested it. And you know what? The simple paraffin wax from candles works really good to waterproof your gear. And it sounds like you're of the same mindset. Make it, test it, bring it back, revisit it. That's in American English. I revisited this project and went back to make it better. Yeah. That's important. That's what you're serious about what you're doing. As soon as you said that you go into the shop and you go work on something to make it better, man, that boom, you're on it. You're good. You're solid.
It's just surprising how that's never really a topic that comes up within the preparedness community, is how much time investment it actually takes, like doing the real prepping sides of things. And I'm saying, like, just field work and camping and hiking is so much fun for me. So like doing those type of things and testing is a good thing. And I think that just from we were on a topic earlier about, you know, the way that we are as people and how certain health benefits are there. I know that. I won't speak about like the smoking side of it because I stopped cigarettes from the beginning of the year. But I'm just saying, like, just on a side note, that it really is something that I've wanted to do for so long, and I've always like set up goals and I set up things where I just wanted to give up cigarettes because I've been smoking for a very long time, for more than say 20, pushing 25 years, and so giving up and trying to replace it with something which I've done. I've replaced it with mountain biking, and I do like my kettlebell. I like walk with a kettlebell. I got a 12 kilogram. I can't do the conversion right now. I apologize. But I've got a 12 kilogram kettlebell, and I walk around with that in the evenings, do my patrols, and then it helps me to just keep like upper body strength. And I like sweat so much, and I think it's those toxins and stuff coming out. But I was just saying that it's one of the big preps as well, is just trying to keep ourselves in a healthy condition. And even if we're disabled, because there's people that are disabled that I put more faith in than others, because they've got the right attitude. You know, they have a strong will, and sometimes, as I say, it's not about how quick you move, but sometimes just that you move steadily.
That you're on the move, That brings up a good point. People who are disabled have spent their whole life working around problems.
Yeah.
And that's a good resource right there. Yeah.
I'm going for a bathroom break.
Okay.
I will be back in a minute.
Right on.
No problem.
Yeah, I've got a playlist on my channel. I call it prepping tools, or you can find it on my channel, of some basic hand tools that you can revisit with your tools that you need for survival. Anyone out there might want to take a look, but I'll give you an example. I'm going to make this into a fishing spear. I'm busy on other projects right now, but this was an edger or a scraper. I bought it for $3. It's got a nice hickory handle on it, and I'm going to make this. I'm going to have to come up with some engineering, but I'm usually working 3 projects all at the same time, but this is one of them. And God willing, I'll be able to cut this down and make a removable fishing spear, so I can take this fishing spear off and use it as a walking stick with just a nice long sheet of steel, narrow sheet of steel as a walking stick. And also this is easily sharpened, so that if anything comes up, I can use it to stab someone or whatever. But part of the revisiting stuff like this is I go back and I shave more weight off this, because this is a heavy use tool. And I'll go back and I'll shave more weight off of it, and I have a small scale. If that might be a recommendation for you in your shop, a small scale, so I can get a before and after weight of what I'm working on.
Yes.
That you can, and then you can add up all that you've removed weight of an item. Really, it will save you in the end, because But now I saw a fishing spear on Amazon that I'm going to see if I can weld and machine and turn this into a walking stick fishing spear.
That's effective, specifically for hiking, because it'll keep, like, for hiking, a walking stick can be amazingly useful, for so many different reasons.
And I'd like to be able to come up with a method of being able to take the fishing spear off, stow it on the stick some way, and then put the fishing spear back on when I need it. I've got some ideas scrambling around in my creative brain here, and that's one of the projects that I'm working on. But well, yeah, you're smart. Keep things as lightweight as possible, because you never know. You might have to have a kid in holding one hand, and you're carrying what you need on foot or with a cart. I find prepping to be a creative challenge. You can tell people who have an artistic mind, who can take the average thing out of a box and improve it, make it better, make it work for you more. That's kind of an artistic mind, someone who's creative. Those people have got good skills, who can take something out of a trash bin and make it into a survival item.
You can. My wife sometimes, she's sitting next to me at the moment, and she'll also attest to it, where, I'll bring home the odd item or two, and then I try to keep it limited, because she keeps me practical and makes sure that I don't bring home everything I find.
Yeah.
But
I understand.
There's a reason and use to a lot of different things that I see. I even have a vintage army helmet that I found, like a proper military army helmet. It's little things like that. Yes, and then Vancity mentions creative redundancy. He also loves the salvaging thing. And I love that about him, that he also likes, collecting YouTube Bob. He also because it's just, there's a lot of cool things that you can sometimes find. And I've got a different, I've been thinking about that cart idea, even before you mentioned it as well, because it's something that at the end of the day can come up as well as something that's so useful. And then if you just spend a bit of time creating it in a way that, because eventually what happens when you don't have fuel? What happens when you don't have those things? That's what it really comes down to. And you're limited access to that. And then if you can't, you can think, okay, well, when things happen, I'll just run around and go to all the stores and grab all the pieces that I need. That's not the way that it works. A lot of these items need to be delivered. So if your delivery services are down, sometimes for certain items to be delivered, sometimes shops that have the survival gear can completely be raided, as one of the first places that get raided as well. From some people.
They will be. They will be. Exactly.
And the only things that will really be left are the things that you currently have with you. So if you don't kind of build up that type of system. One more thing, Oslander over there says, Guardian prepping, that is another reason to plant moringa trees in your climate, in as many random spots and among other trees. Now that's something so useful also, because it's essentially a way of caching. You're basically putting caches out. Instead it's living caches that over time could potentially just increase.
We also have to be very careful. If we plant invasive species and they become a problem, you can get a fine, and you could be liable.
A huge fine.
You could be liable to have to remove them out the area.
But I'll do the research, and I'll go into it safely too, though.
You must just be careful with that.
Okay.
Wait, Oslander, what do you mean? Where did you say that now we know why you turned off the camera? Why do you believe? Why do you believe I turned off the camera exactly?
I have no idea what he means.
He's hiding his beautiful wife. Hello, Mrs.
I'm hard at work. I'm not supposed to be partaking in a conversation.
Oh, that's quite all right. I'm glad you joined us.
That's okay.
No, I really only have
much more fun.
That is true, Shadow. And no, the only reason why I'm hiding my camera at the moment is because I know how you guys both legitimately, because of the lighting, you guys both look really, really good, and I truly mean that. You can see the outline of your guys' faces as well. You can see the smiles, the expressions. It's good lighting all around. It looks positive. When I turn on my camera here, because my light at the top fell down yesterday. I'm not even joking. Our middle light, our fan light, because it's a fan and it was a little bit unsteady, it unshook the light bulb at the top, and then it fell down. So literally yesterday, my light at the top's not working. So what happens is now the only lighting that's there is the lighting from my silly little lights that I've got on the desk and whatever. So then it brings out all of my bad features, and I know it sounds silly, but I like looking good on a camera, and I just do not look good right now. So I don't want like.
Well, I'm going to be frank with you. The pretty one in your house is your wife. You're still ugly no matter what kind of lighting you got.
Thank you. I do realize that. I absolutely do. But I do think that I have to be slightly attractive looking to have the wife I do. Because I don't think she'd have married,
That's
completely
true.
out of her league.
Yeah.
So, and besides for that, that's the only confidence I got. Don't worry. Like that's whenever I need to feel good about myself, I look over at my wife and I'm like, yeah, she wouldn't go.
Yeah, I did something right. Look, that did something right. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Like, I definitely think,
I'm gonna get a coffee, guys. Just a sec.
You're all good, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So,
He's fun.
Yeah, life is good.
Yeah.
With the friends that I've got as well. With you guys, the community. Genuinely appreciate it, and it's nice to just have these chats. And I do say that quite often, but the reason why I do is because I genuinely feel that way. Sometimes with work, the way that work gets in the way. Yeah. The thing is, like, to go into what Ausland is saying there, but before I do, I'll just close up with what I was saying. Sometimes, like with work and everything like that, things can be a little bit hectic. But at the end of the day, like, coming back and just chatting amongst the people that have a similar mindset to myself as well, just is always a good thing. So Ausland was saying, sorry guys, but to be honest, all of us guys are fugly. Not enough here on this earth will make me look at a guy and think attractive. Well, of course, yes, right? But okay, so I definitely have to be honest about this, and I think that, like, it is possible for a guy to see if another guy is like dependably good looking. My wife looks at me and shakes her head and she says, like, don't.
No, it's just like, how the internet is, babe.
No, it's not that way. I think that Brad Pitt is a good looking guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you guys can judge me all you want. I'm not going to hide or be dishonest or be somebody else that I'm not. I'm not saying I've got a crush on Brad Pitt. I'm just saying that I think he's a very good looking guy. If anybody believes that I'm madly in love with him or something, then they're completely misconstrued. But I'll be honest with you and just say that, like, a guy can tell if another guy, such as Brad Pitt, is good looking. Okay, there's nothing like Darren there from Thor Heaven Farm. I've said before, Darren's good looking. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean that, like, it doesn't mean anything strange or whatever. I've got a beautiful wife and I'm faithful, so I'm not going to be looking at anybody else whatsoever in terms of them being attractive, even if it's a beautiful woman. Like, she can go fly kites somewhere else. Like, I have my woman and I'm very faithful and I love her in every way. So it doesn't mean that I'm going to, I'm really defending this Brad Pitt thing of mine, though. That's what should make people concerned. It's like, he's really going on about that's an awesome family. You see, like, that's beautiful.
Isn't
really
she gorgeous? Oh yeah, I was emptying boxes, and we're long-term moving, and this is an old picture my missus sent to me from years and years ago. Isn't she beautiful, man? But this is gonna go just get displayed in our living room, in the new house over in the Philippines. That's my beautiful wife. My son and daughter. That's way back when they were all still living in the Philippines. God, she's gorgeous, man. I did something right.
I agree with you about that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom. That's when I look at a person like that, you can see that person, like, you can see that lady definitely has a lot of wisdom in her eyes.
She's brilliant.
Yeah, you can pick up those things sometimes pretty quickly, even without knowing. And I mean so with all due respect as well.
Yeah. I recognized that immediately when I saw her on a webcam years and years and years ago. I went, there's something to this one. And there's something there. There's something I gotta get a little closer to that and see what that's all about. But I think a smart wife as like you've got your prepping room and your gear that you go over and keeps you busy. Now that's a smart wife. Hey Thor, how you doing,
Thor.
brother? All right. Smart
I got
wife.
all excited when Guardian was talking about how sexy I am. Arr.
Oh my God.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you guys. Hope you're all doing amazing today.
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Awesome.
You're looking a lot less wintry. Is it not as cold there right now?
Oh, it's still cold. Yeah, we're right now it's like minus 10 degrees Celsius. So 10 degrees below freezing. We just got a big load of firewood yesterday, so we still got to empty it and get it down into the basement. So, yeah, we got, I think it's about 3 feet of snow out there where it hasn't drifted or where I haven't piled it up. So, a bit of snow too. So,
do me a favor and keep it there. But and like I was just saying, a smart wife will make sure that a guy has got a workspace and a hobby, because then she knows exactly where he's at. He's not out goofing around. Because I had this discussion with my missus years ago. I said, are you really okay with me being out here in the shop? She goes, I know where you are if you're in your shop. You're not out horsing around, and messing around, doing something stupid. You're at home. I know right where you're at. Okay, smart. Yeah.
It is a smart way to see it. And sometimes, just my wife's been very supportive, but simply sometimes just like being happy with,
I let him spend a lot of money on stuff that I might not deem necessary.
Yeah, like preps are expensive.
Same with us, yeah.
Prepping is expensive.
No, prepping's not what I mean. I mean, he went like all in on aquariums, right? And he spent a lot of money on the fish tank.
I love my fish tanks. They're pretty fish.
Maybe don't do it that way. And granted, yes, we have lovely fish, but really like going the substrate way, it makes it such a bitch to clean the tank when you have to clean it.
But is the fish tanks part of the preps?
No, that's just aesthetic value.
I like to look good I like things to look good while prepping, dude. Like,
nothing wrong with that.
When I go grab a sandwich in my kitchen, I want there to be a beautiful fish tank there, and it's not even that it costs all that much money. Well, like it kind of does. I know it kind of does, but the thing is, it's just like I'm trying to excuse it. Yeah, save me, guys. Say something. It's
hey, Mrs. Guardian, look at it this way. He spent money on the aquarium and the fish and the accessories. That way, he didn't spend that money on a girlfriend. So that's a positive thing, right?
I don't know. The way Guardian's talking about us guys and looking sexy and Brad Pitt and now the fish tank looking all pretty and stuff.
So this is the thing. You can be a pro or you can be a noob, right? That's always the thing. And like,
look, I'm not judging or anything. I'm okay with whatever. Feel free to.
I will say that you can be excellent at life and look good while doing it as well. I believe that. And I believe that you can also have a style to everything you do. Like, I definitely think that aesthetic matters sometimes.
Yeah, see, it is part of the prepping. You could feel, look at it. Jeannie Nonia. Yeah.
I'd be putting some like edible fish in there.
Oh, yeah. All fish are edible, brother. A little bit of salt, pepper.
Everything's edible once, right?
That's right.
Don't forget the soy sauce.
Soy sauce, a little rice. Boom. You've got that's part of the prep, son. Come on now. That's emergency food.
But realistically, like I think the preps themselves can become quite costly, like because a lot of the preps specifically that I've got to get, like I had to get my Sawyer Mini water filtration system as well. I had to get that imported, and I'm also looking at the Berkey that you were speaking about recently, Thor. Like I know that's something that I'm also looking at a little bit later in the year. But as I'm saying, like preps in general, like also because I collect knives, I love different knives and different axes as well. And I enjoy them. And, also with hiking boots are really expensive, things like that. Like my solar watch is expensive. Like solar power banks are costly. The bags are expensive. Tops, like sleeping bags, like hammocks. Any like sort of survival oriented gear does come to quite a lot. Like cooking gear like the right cooking gear for long-term survival does cost quite a bit. Like investing in the right amount of, and making sure that you've got a good rotation. The beginning of a rotation can be costly because you've got to make sure that that rotation is there first before you can start rotating the beans and rotating like all of the food supply that you use.
The good thing with the good quality stuff though is it lasts that much longer.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Usually most of it's like good warranty. So like you take, for example, like Loa boots, Arc'teryx clothing, you know, you wreck that and there's a good chance they'll replace it or fix it for you.
Yeah. I get most of my prepping gear from secondhand stores, guys, but I've been doing this for years and years and years and years. And
it depends what it is.
God,
like,
you can find some really good stuff out there.
There's tons of great deals in like secondhand stores and dollar stores and that sort of stuff. But if I'm going out for a pair of boots, I'm going to spend some money.
Me too. That's I got Danner boots. That's my brand. Yeah, they fit my gigantic feet perfectly, and I selected hunting boots, Gore-Tex insulated hunting boots. Those are perfect for year round. Nice, and it rains so much here. It's so muddy and so nasty that I don't have wet feet. And then the hunting boots don't, in case anyone doesn't know, the hunting boots don't have a heel on them. They're a flat sole and they're very soft material, so you don't make noise when you walk. That's that. I won't cut on footwear. I don't cut corners. That's brand new. No. That fits me to a T. But everything else I can make do with. You know,
I'm kind of iffy on the Gore-Tex. It's one of those things that, for me, I find depending on what you're doing, where you're going, your feet are going to get wet no matter what, even if you're wearing Gore-Tex. So sometimes going Gore-Tex is a disadvantage because your feet are going to be wet longer if they do get wet compared to, say, a boot that dries faster where you might get wet quicker, but it's also going to dry faster. So going through a stream with Gore-Tex boots, you're going to get wet. Now that membrane is not going to allow that boot to dry as fast as a different boot would. So it's one of those toss-ups that, you know, depending on your circumstance and your situation, your terrain, your area, what is going to work best for you.
And that is a big part of prepping is where do you live?
Where do you live, and have you tried your gear out? Have you used your gear? Have you taken it out? Have you, like we were saying before, Guardian, about packing your backpack? You know, when I was younger, I was like, oh yeah, you know, if something happens, I'm going to bug out. I'm going to take my firearms with me. I'm going to pack my ammo. I'm going to, you know, you start packing ammo for a sustained firefight.
Yeah.
You're not able to pack anything else and you're not carrying it for a distance. So it's like, once you actually start to experience that and start to test it out and try it out, wow, it makes a difference.
That's where caching comes into play as well, though. Like caching, that's why the usefulness of caching can be so important, because there's a lot of things that you won't really be able to, you know, really carry with you at all times. So it's imperative that you do that. Sorry, go ahead, Bob.
Well, yeah, let's face it, guys. None of us are in the infantry anymore. I was in the military.
Armored.
Yeah, you were in the military, and so the thought of a sustained firefight for someone who's out there trying to get out of a danger area.
It's one of those fantasies that
like,
a lot of
it is.
preppers
I agree.
People getting into it kind of, and I want to say that's kind of the old mentality of prepping rather than, you know, what we're all kind of going for is, you know, a healthy lifestyle of sustaining our families. So it's not that kind of
move away from danger where the infantry goes in. They go in to, you know, and like you worked on tracked vehicles, if I remember right. And
we had Iltises, Jeeps.
Oh, okay. You guys
Armored
had transportation
with an Iltis.
Gotcha. Yeah. You guys had something to carry all that ammo.
Yeah.
So I see some of these guys talking about you need a minimum of 1,000 rounds. It's like, Have you ever picked up 1,000 rounds? A 200, an ammo can full of 200 rounds is like, oh, yeah, do that with a
add
couple
that
of
into your
kids in
backpack
tow.
along with all the other preps that you want to take
Yeah,
with you.
yeah. And you got a kid in hand
No.
and a wife in hand. It's like,
No, it's not
that's
happening.
that's the dividing line between someone who really knows what they're talking about and someone who's never been out in the field testing or never been out hunting. That's the dividing line right there. You need a minimum of 10,000 or 500. Right? You're full of it, dude. You can't do it, you know?
The only time that would ever work is if you have like a secondary location stacked up completely. And that would be something that would be, firstly, very expensive. And secondly, you could get into quite a lot of trouble depending on where in the world you are.
Correct.
For having that amount of supply, because they'll question, like, are you, what would be your intent in that purpose? So,
exactly. Because I've been in martial law 3 times. And trust me, if you're, say if you're licensed to carry a weapon or whatever, you're going to get stopped and you're going to get searched and they're going to, check your paperwork. But if you got all that kind of stuff on you, they're going to go, buddy, you ain't going no farther because you're probably going to sell that ammo to the enemy. That's the fact. You're not going any farther. You're staying with us. And I'll take that handgun. Thank you very much. And that's how it works,
Your laws are so much more lenient than ours, though. Like, realistically, like when it comes to like our laws, we really have major restrictions, which is something that is, it is what it is. I can understand that I'm a law-abiding citizen in every way, and I really am.
Same here.
It's better to be on the side of, because the worst thing that can happen if you want to be like, against the law completely, the worst thing that can happen is you go and do, criminal activity, for example. You end up in a situation where you get yourself put in incarceration, right? And then what happens is, from that point, in a survival situation, one of the worst places that you could find yourself in ever is being like locked up as it is, because there's certain things, and I've looked into specifically, with the US, what would happen in the US, and it's interesting. If you guys have the time, look into it. What the orders are currently to do in a SHCF situation. The military already have code for it, and they already have protocol in place that if in the case of there being like a very big drastic situation, I'm not going to tell you, but there's 2 things that they're allowed to do, 2 options. And they've got to kind of make the call in that situation. The one option is kind of just, I don't even know if I want to step into this conversation anymore, and I'm actually going to back out of it lightly by saying, out of respect for Shadow's channel, I don't want to speak about, too deep into rabbit holes and stuff. But I'll say that it's not a good place to be if you ever are in.
No.
Yeah.
And doing that stuff too, there's too much risk. I mean, we've all built our lives up. I think we're all trying to better our lives. We're all trying to have an awesome life with great family.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not willing to risk what I have for
stupid decision.
Exactly. It's just no.
Well,
not
I'll touch on martial law in the Philippines. I've been through it 3 different times in different cities. And do you know what the definition of martial law is? That means they can use martial force on you at any time. Anytime.
Well, I'm sure Castro Jr. up here is going to try and bring it in with the trucker strike going on.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. But they can dump you. If they don't like what you're doing, it's over. It's over for you, bud. This is your last ride. You're done. And that's one thing that you can tell a rookie who doesn't know what they're talking about with, carry all this and that. It's like, you've never lived through martial law.
I'm well past the whole bug out situation. For me,
I try to avoid the fake, phony people that talk that kind of smack, man, because they've never lived through it.
I'm staying put. I'm too old, too fluffy, too broken.
Look at me.
You should not view yourself that way, because then you are what you view yourself as. You're going to condemn yourself to believing that you're too old, and then your back's going to be too sore by the time that you know. Like, I'm being serious. There's a lot of things that
it's truth, though. Yeah.
That you need to keep mentally young. There's a lot of people that are in their 70s and 80s that will kick my ass in terms of like long distance running, or in terms of like being quick. Like, it's surprising. Like, I'm being serious about it. Like, it's about like the ability, and there's the incredibly strong people that are in their 70s and 80s as well. Like, you can look into it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Those guys would floor me completely, and like
my dad can
let go
out
of
cardio me. Like, he's crazy fit. So
that's perfectly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so,
you try. It's a mindset. I think what you're trying to say. It's a mindset. It's your heart. What's in your heart and in your head. You know, guys who've been through the military services, we've been tested, and we know I can do more than what I think I can do. You know, when you're pushed. You know, I don't know, Canada, in the U.S. Air Force, they had us do three
that's
push-ups.
Half the reason I went armored instead of infantry.
In the U.S. Air Force, they had us do 3 push-ups within one day. You know, the Army guys like hearing that. You get your Air Force guys, you've got it so soft. But I did 3 push-ups in one day. I'm pretty tough, you know. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people to watch out for. When you can find some really good people you can click up with on YouTube, you can learn an awful lot. You know? But there's a lot of people you just want to kind of skirt around and just leave that one over there.
You also find people that are doing it for the wrong reasons. You find, unfortunately, and I'll never call people out specifically because I don't think that's, I know that you wouldn't either, Bob. I just think that, like,
do you want me to?
What's it?
I don't know. There's I would literally never do that. Don't worry. Like, but I know that there are specific people out there that did get into it for definitely the wrong reason, kind of thing, where they're not kind of passionate about like what they're doing. They're doing it for almost a show, and they're doing it for the status level.
Yeah,
and like just to have like a facade and like a face to it, where it isn't something that they're drawn to naturally. That, like, you know, you kind of need to be at a position where you really think about your future and think about how the impacts and what has happened in the past. Like, history has an uncanny way of repeating itself, and things can get really bad really quickly. And what do you do in those situations? How do you look after the people that you care about? And that's why, as well, a lot of the people that are really into preparedness will usually do so out of love and a want and a desire to protect, rather than people that are doing it to be Rambo, you know? So, by the way, Brian, nice to see you.
What my channel is kind of about is, I just learned this. I'm going to make a video and I'm going to teach you what I just learned. That's what I try to keep my channel to. You know, I just learned how to take this item and make it into something that I need, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. Sometimes the kit that I get, but I don't do this. I try to avoid the people who try to fluff their own ego.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, easy now.
But mine is made of knife stuff. That's all mine is.
It's what?
My choice is knife. Like a knife review.
You know what? This is the most used knife I have ever had in my life. Seriously. I mean, I've got a few knives, but this little Mora wood carver is the most used knife ever. I use this thing every day. It sits right here on my work table. That's really all that I need. Yeah, something just about this big to cut and all that. That's really.
I also have this.
Yep.
Army issue knife.
Well, you can use a wood carver's knife in a lot of ways as well to make
certainly
to make new tools. That's where it really comes in.
I've got.
It's funny you mentioned teaching on the channel. I've tried to wrap my head around that, about, you know, trying to teach some of the stuff that I do here and trying to show people what I'm doing to become even more prepared with, expanding the gardens, the food forest, having all different sorts of animals and prepping and that kind of thing. And then I'm like, I watch some other people and I'm like, he's even more knowledgeable and intelligent than I am. So why am I trying to put that information out there? And then I'm like, oh no, actually there's still a lot of people that still need to learn, and that information needs to be spread around. So
but you have to look at it this way, that the person who subbed to your channel may not be subbed to that guy. So if you can teach them a little something, they just learn something, and you help somebody else out by making a video. Just that's how I look at it. Is like, I know there's a million welding videos out there, but Carol, of Fishes and Loaves, asked me, can you show me? Like, okay, I know there's billions of, here you go, Carol. Here's the table. Here's how I weld some nails so I can, secure it. It's a Windows, little spikes sticking up in the windowsill, that kind of a thing. But she may not be aware of all the other millions of welding. So that might be something to help to inspire you, that you could teach this guy out there who's not aware of all the other videos.
That's true. Yeah.
I like to hear that. Back.
Hey, Second Star. Nice to see you.
Hey, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Oh, that's good.
It was mentioned, I have a fallen carbon set knife right here.
Oh, nice. That's a nice one.
Sorry. Yeah. The freeze and everything that's hit Texas, it's shut down all internet and power and everything.
Wow.
You guys getting snow and cold weather again down there?
So that's one reason why I like having these around the house. Well, web videos, which also fascinating, and a charging bank.
Yeah, good. Well said, Homestead. Yeah, well
that's
said.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's well said.
Well said. Yeah, Thor, just, man, if you think of something that, why not just throw out a video and just keep pumping them out? Somebody's going to learn a little something from every video that you make. That's the way I try to keep it. Just learn a little something.
My channel, sorry.
It's so true about the myths of prepping. Like, I get going on this, and the media has portrayed it as, extreme right-wing guys worried about zombies and overthrowing the government and that kind of thing. And
no,
it's not. It's, for me, myself, I worry about everything from forest fires to floods to train derailments to power outages to going off the road in my truck in winter, that kind of stuff. It's like, I even mentioned it in one video, for some people who don't even realize it, you can be put out with the loss of a loved one. If someone dies and you have to go look after their affairs for 2 weeks, and you've already taken your vacation from work or something, what are you going to do? Now you have to take 2 unpaid weeks of leave.
Yeah.
Do you have enough food to cover that? Do you have enough money in the bank to cover that?
Certainly good thinking.
Like, there's so many things that affect our daily lives that you really need preps as insurance for. We pay for insurance for every other aspect of our life. Why not this section of having food and having some goods on hand?
I mean, there's life insurance for funerals, but there's really no insurance for life in general. You know what I mean? You are your own insurance in that aspect.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Thor, because I hear many people online, and I try to avoid the mass media. Man, I stay away from it. But
it gets in the way at this point.
They think the UN is going to march in and take over the United States, and the government is going to come in, and government is incompetent, dude. They're incompetent. They can't even. they have to have a lawyer to verify that they're, I want my lawyer's permission so I can steal these tax dollars. I mean, come on. You think the government's going to come in and take you over it? No, I'm not worried about that
I
at
agree
all.
with what Thor said. Like in December.
Oh no!
And cut out halfway.
They must be having some issues down there with the storm then.
Yeah. He said there's like some
Guardian, you're muted.
I know. I realized that as I was just before you said it, I was like, oh, I'm muted and I'm busy trying to make a point. Yeah, as Second Star was just about to agree with you too, Darren. Just as he was about
I know. Just as my ego was about to get even bigger.
You mentioned the ego earlier, Bob. Do you think that and I brought up the intellectuality part? Well, intellectuality is just an element of it, but I brought up the fact earlier. Don't you think ego? There's a slight part of ego that goes hand in hand with self-preservation, and self-preservation being the core of survival itself. Because if you don't view yourself as unique or special enough to really give a damn about that, you don't see that that you being you carrying on in life would be for the betterment of everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's definitely an advantage as well as a disadvantage for myself that I am the way I am, because a lot of people will see me come across as arrogant, egotistical, narcissist, you name it. It's like I'm pretty sure I present that in some areas, and there's other areas where it benefits me well. Whereas my last job interview that I still do, I walked in and said, okay, when do you want me to start? It's that kind of thing that the confidence allows you to get through some areas where there's also disadvantages. Sometimes it will prevent you from some stuff.
Pros and cons, like everything else.
Well, yeah, there is some amount of arrogance in prepping. I can agree with that. Yeah. Because
it's also that the same as that arrogance is also. So in psychology, the way that a lot of it is viewed would be that the love for your children and your offspring as well would also come from
that's my priority.
Would also come from a degree of love for yourself, because there are extensions of yourself to a certain degree. So in order for you to really love others as well, primarily the people that are around you, you would need to have a certain level of not like love in the sense of just complete pride, because pride is a very dangerous thing, but more just the sense of just that you're comfortable with who you are, that that you're enough. And I think there's a lot of people that don't believe that they're enough as people, and that they just don't feel full within themselves, they're not at a place where they are truly confident and comfortable. And that type of thing, it's that type of extension and the desire for protection where prepping gets really hardcore, and you start realizing the importance of it, and you really get into the gritty side of actual preparedness and thinking about long term and learning and studying and using it as a motivator to take additional courses as much as you can to try and improve on your education as well, and your own skill sets to try and get more healthy, to get faster and stronger, and to be sharper in the way that you think about things. There's a lot more that comes down to the way that you view yourself and the desire for you to be prepared, and for you to know as well that the rest of the world might not have the same good morals and value points that you do, because unfortunately you've had to learn the hard way. And there's a lot of good people in the emergency preparedness community as well, because you're kind of going through life when you are friendly and a caring person, you learn that there's a lot of people that would go out of their way to kind of jeopardize you or to take advantage of you. And I was speaking about this earlier with a friend, about the likelihood of people going out of their way to really you know, use other people that are kind and good-willed, and they'll absolutely, you know, see that as a weakness, and they'll exploit that. So you've got to be careful and almost hard. Your exterior needs to be hard to a certain degree. Over here on the ShadowScout streams, I do none of that though. Like I'm so, as you know, so fluffy as Thor was saying earlier. It's a good expression. Like I'm really not coming across even slightly as trying to get anybody to take me very seriously. I don't know if you've noticed. I love these chats because I can be real. So
yeah.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. If you can't laugh at yourself, and it's like,
say, Thor, I'm going to self-promote some of my videos right now. Thor, have you looked
I love
into
shameless self-promotion.
Yeah.
No one else is going to promote you as much yourself, so do it.
But I have a playlist of waxed fire starters on my channel, because you live in a cold climate where the wood is most likely going to be soaking wet if you skid off the road. And I made them, I showed how to make them, and then I tested them, a bunch of different sizes and types.
Nice.
Take a look at some of those. You can make it with just a cooking pot, some wax, and trash that comes out of your house, and some popsicle sticks. And then I set them up and I light them and I time them to see how high the flame gets and how long they last. Take a look. And
Sweet.
I would recommend you throw some of those in a Ziploc bag. I've got them in all of our cars, because in the Northwest it rains like crazy here. So just you know, one friend to another here, man. Just take a look at those things, pack them up, and put them in your car along with some food and water. And I'm such a strong believer in that. I've got them in Ziploc bags of 6, and when we have visitors come over, I hand them to them when they leave. You know, yarn, fabric, scrap paper, all that. What's this? I said, in case you skid off the road, you can light wet wood with these. These will keep you alive. Yeah. Sometimes I get funny looks, but you know, throw it in the trunk of your car and forget about it. You know, just put it in your car and don't think about it. You know, something like that.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I just did a video that is basically about a get home vehicle, bug out vehicle. Yeah. And I go through everything I've got in my truck.
Oh, fantastic.
It's one of those that so many people talk about a get home bag, and then they forget that they have a vehicle that can carry even more stuff. So load it up. Yep.
So can I tell you guys something really funny, just to interject just for a second?
No.
So I'm going to anyway. But what I was going to say is Auslander Info over there. What I love more about the fact that Auslander Info made that comment there where he said, you know, we were speaking about confidence and how good it is and that type of thing. But just in like jest, you know, Auslander says, you know, Thor, when you want me to start, you know, he says it. I don't need to repeat it. But I love that Shadow decided to keep it up for as long as he did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That tells you something about what Shadow's thinking. Like he really
exactly.
Likes
the comments. Yeah. He's like, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's all good. I definitely think that, you know, what we're speaking about, it can be like it can be utilized in the right way. But anyway, back to what you were saying, Bob. Sorry about that. I just had to raise that quickly.
No, I love that. And again, it's like, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you know you're gonna have a hard time getting through life. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I wish
one of the other things I love about fire starters, making your own homemade ones, is dryer lint. It's an ongoing.
I've done that. I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a whole pickle jar of it, full of it right now on my table.
Yeah. And it's so much easier and faster than belly button lint.
I can mix dryer with fat wood.
You imagine that you buy your wife a new bikini, hun, can you model that for me? And you, oh, dude, go up there with a pair of tweezers. I'm doing this for my prep, son. No, I'm going to make fire starters out of this. It's all right. Relax. Oh Lord.
Yeah. When I mix that with fat wood.
Mm-hmm.
Fatwood is so good. Fatwood is really one of the best things that you can ever have, and I really mean that. Like, fatwood just lasts forever, obviously, and it just has like you can never go wrong with having a good supply of fatwood as well. It can get quite heavy if you want to store like a large amount of it, though. That's the only downfall.
Maybe it's because I'm drinking, but I'm like, oh yeah, the fatwood. Waking up every morning.
But I'm gonna go have a few drinks myself in a little while. I got to stop in at the supermarket, pick up a few things, and
I just did a grocery shopping on the way home. Last night? No, Wednesday, and it was the first time I've been into the grocery store in, I want to say, like a year. And it was crazy. So I got, the paper bags that they send home with you from the grocery store.
Yeah.
They've switched back to that in a lot of places instead of the plastic, which is nice.
I agree.
But I got 3 paper bags full of stuff, and then a bag of rice, a jug of oil, and then I think it's 3 liters of milk. Our things come in the milk bags.
Yeah.
It was like $220. I was like, what the? That's crazy. I'm like,
yeah, that's insane, man.
The things I noticed though that were like, yogurt jumped in price massively. So I can't wait till we get our dairy goats in the spring. Bread, usually like $2, $2 to $3 is now like $5 to $6. It's just crazy, the pricing.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
But my point being was I gotta be pretty quick, get a shower and shave. Got to look my best, old gray beard, But it's Friday, and there's a pub close to the house. I've mentioned this before. That's an actual little brewery where they make their own. And there's a waitress. She's half Japanese and she's half Navajo Indian. And I got to go in there and take a look at that stuff and have a couple of pints of ale and take a look.
Bob, you have a wife. What are you doing?
I know. I can't.
Thank you,
Phil. I just said I'm going to go take a look. I don't.
Yeah, I know. But still.
See?
Well, that's why the wife.
It's one of those that I totally get that as a male, and I'm fighting myself with it. Like, that's why I think I got rid of my own Instagram account, because I go on there and it's like, whoa, okay, no.
I
finally got rid of that, and
well, it just depends if you use Instagram to actually, if you use it as a business profile and you just kind of post, like, that's what I've been doing recently with the workout stuff, right? Is just using it for that purpose. And then you don't really get anybody like messaging you out of the blue, that type of thing. And it can be good if you use it in the right way, like just to aim the Instagram at helping to build your channel to a degree as well, and just using it as to post like fitness photos and nice things that you see, scenery, stuff like that. It can be, you know what I mean? Like, you just make sure that you like don't respond to the people, because you will get some people that will
the messages. No, I just delete those. But it's just even just scrolling through and like the ads and the other stuff, and like
the temptation
links, and it's just like,
Are you trying to avoid the temptation? Is what you mean, Thor?
Oh yeah, like,
yeah, I can understand.
I'm extremely happy where I am
here
now. So
same here, man.
For me to see other stuff, it's like, why am I even bothering with that? So,
but the thing is with that, I don't know, like maybe my Instagram works differently, but if what I've got on my Instagram is a whole lot of survivalist stuff mostly. So like when I scroll through and I'm like scrolling through that, like if there is, like, because obviously sometimes with following as well in the way that works, like if there are, my wife goes through my Instagram just as much as I do. So like, if you know what I mean, on the same level. So it's not like something where I've got my Instagram ever, my wife
maybe I'm just a little more naughty.
My
Yeah.
wife is looking
My
at me from the
mind
side
is
and going
naughty.
like this.
Mhm.
Like, what are you talking about?
He is defending Instagram to the max.
It's a nice. I enjoy taking some nice photos and sharing them. That's
Yeah.
legitimate.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And then I get an endorphin rush when I see a like button on it. I'm like, yeah, I probably like that. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. There's nothing, you know. It's
that's how it traps you, though.
yeah, of course, that's what it does. And I'm in acknowledgement to that. You know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Shadow? Do you agree? You enjoy Instagram as well, right, Shadow?
I don't
Yeah,
even have
I use
I don't
it.
even have Instagram. YouTube and Facebook for my family only. That's all I use.
Yeah, I'm about to get rid of the Book of Faces.
I got it.
Yeah, I do that to contact because my family's over in England and in the Philippines, so that's how we talk, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, Thor, go back to that waitress. You know, I mean, you know, it's a family-run little place. One of the waitresses is Air Force. Also, she's you know, so and she's a Dane Navajo and attractive young lady. But yeah, I'm a man. I like to look at women, man, and flirt just a little bit. But you know what? When I get done with my 2, maybe 3 pints, that's all I can handle. That's it. I'm done. I walk right straight back home, and I'm back in the house where my beautiful little wife is at. I go, hon, you should have seen the butt on that little Navajo over there.
You see, if you have that type of relationship with your wife and you're honest with her as well, then go for it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That honesty is the thing that really matters, I think.
I think that's so important to do not lie to your wife.
Oh no!
Do not lie hurts worse than Yeah, exactly. Either online or especially to your wife. You know. Yeah.
Well, unless there's stuff like someone asks you, does this make me look fat or something? You can say, that kind of stuff I'm okay with, but
if your wife is watching the stream, I feel sorry for people.
No, and she never asked me that either, which is nice. But I'm just, I'm thinking so it's.
I'm very fortunate to say that my wife is definitely still exceptionally attractive, and
I know
that's why
I'm like,
and she doesn't really ask me.
No, sorry, I don't mean I know like your wife is. Mine is too. Yeah,
mine is too.
I know how you feel.
No, don't worry. I won't make a joke about that just because you really, and I'm being very serious when I say that. I can't explain to you what it's like. Just sometimes, when she's sleeping, it's going to sound like every other time she's being she could potentially be mean, which is not attractive. But when she's sleeping, the most beautiful. She's even more beautiful than she usually is what I'm saying.
My wife says I'm the perfect husband when I'm sleeping. I'm not sure what she means by that. What do you mean, hon?
My wife is sitting here next to me, and she's just not saying anything, but she's smiling. But she's
she's thinking back to that time.
No, I'm getting warm over here as well, and also I've had quite a long day, and it's actually quite hot, and I don't have the fan on because then you're going to hear the fan all the time. So,
yeah. Hey, Thor, I'm clearing stuff out, shipping stuff back overseas, and all that. I'm going through boxes and sorting. Going to ship overseas, take it with it, whatever. This is an old picture.
You're moving over there, or you're just going over for a while?
We're gonna start off going over there for a while.
Okay, nice.
And then, but I'm packing more boxes that are being shipped over there. I already sent 2, and I got 3 more in here, and that's some of the stuff I'm sorting through. I'm going to use that open space for some more beans and but this is an old picture here, and now that little Navajo lady over there is cute and pretty, but this right here made me cross the ocean, man. Look at her, isn't she? Ain't she freaking gorgeous, man. That's my wife.
Awesome.
Yeah, I ain't jumping over any fences going anywhere, man. Yeah, that's mine, man. That's all mine.
Nice.
That's a beautiful woman.
What's your plan? Are you doing like going over for say 6 months and then coming back for 6 months, or what kind of time frame?
Here's a tentative plan right now. Now, my wife and these 2 kids, I raised them. These are my kids, son and daughter. This was from quite a long time ago. They all have dual citizenship.
Nice.
It's okay. Now that we don't have to be put up for a week in a COVID hotel, we've got the extra time. We're going to go to immigration and get me a year-long, what do you call it? A year-long visa, because I can't get dual because I wasn't born there. I would have to surrender my U.S. and take on their, I'm not doing that. I'm keeping my U.S. passport.
Yeah.
And then I have options. If I have to have my wife with me to get like a year-long visa, just because I'm married to a national. I can just like that pay a fee, and then so the decision will be made then whether I'm going to stay on longer or come back with the wife and daughter on our return.
Yeah.
But then eventually, we're going to move down there and live there, But
do you have like a family farm already set up down there, or is
she won't tell me about the other land that she bought. She's just like, so how much did you buy? Oh, enough. Well, in a couple different places.
Okay.
And she did that with the house too. I knew she was building a house down there, and then one day we got in a taxi and drove over to this. The house is already under construction. You know, it's kind of their culture of don't reveal too much. It's their culture. But and what was I going to say?
That's a very interesting culture, actually. Sorry, I just had to.
It stems from the crab mentality, because it is a poor country, and like say the crab mentality. Say if you've got a big pot full of crabs, they're all writhing and all that, and one of them starts crawling out of the pot. Guaranteed, someone's going to reach up and pull you back in. That's why they don't talk too much about what they've got going on, but.
Yeah,
I know she's got some land in a couple different places on a nearby island. I don't know if she's planning on flipping it or farming it, or I don't know. I wish I could tell you more, but
would you be looking forward to farming? Like
I would
getting some like water buffalo, doing some rice fields, and kind of self-sustaining yourself that way, or what?
More for our own use.
Yeah,
because. It's really complicated with the visas there, because if I'm out there working the farm and I've got employees and all that, and if I don't have the correct visa, I will be deported like that.
Right.
Like that. You're here on a retirement visa, but you're working.
Okay.
It's that crab mentality. Well, this rich foreigner, he's making it good, and someone will reach up and pull me down. Do you understand what I mean? Here's
it's either that or you're gonna sit on the bank yelling at people to come on, get that in faster. We got to get that harvest in the barn. Let's go.
And now that's one thing I'm gonna have to talk to Mrs. about. Is it like currently we have a niece who's in the city of Makati, right next to the testing facility for Filipino nurses to test, and then they go abroad. So we're going to buy 2 condos right next to it as an investment.
Nice.
And that's where the wife and the daughter, she asked me the other night, do you want to come and follow us home? And we're going to stop in there and look at the property. So that's where I'm going to have to talk to her about, is like, I want my name on it, but is that going to interfere with my retirement visa by being a part owner of this? I don't know. There's so much. But yeah, we're eventually going to move down there. The goal is short term is that I would like to spend the winters down there. Get the hell out of here and but the hard part is that during the spring and summer, I have to be here to guard the family and the house, armed guard, literally from April through September. I have to be present with a pistol on my hip. There's
here
so much
or the Philippines.
Here.
Okay.
Dude, there's so much addiction here. I have to wear a sidearm. My son wears a sidearm, So that's where it's like, but in the Philippines, they know how to deal with that. People who are addicted, it's over, They
so
don't.
It'd be probably beneficial just move everything there, right?
Yeah, eventually we will.
Nice.
Yeah. This is a rental house, and we signed yesterday another 1-year lease, for this property. So we're going to live here about another year, but we will eventually live there because it's safer there than it is here. It's a lot safer, man. They got their S together as far as street crime, baby. They don't tolerate it.
Yeah.
Well, we can't afford to put you in jail, but we can afford a 45. And that's how they handle it, man. They do. It's over, I would like to have a little plot of land, and grow my own food but right now we've got a house, and I saw these racks that they make for large pots of and I can grow my own vegetables right next to the house if I like, because it's summer every day there.
Yeah, no problem growing year round there, right?
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to deal with what you guys experience when it comes to snow. Like, I don't know how you
it sucks, dude.
Navigate that. I've never had to deal with it. Like, I've experienced snow when traveling, but never had to try and grow in it.
You don't grow.
It's
the hopefully we can get the greenhouse going next winter completely all year. We'll have to insulate a little more and get some heat going in the winter. However, it at least extends our season a couple months on each end of the season, which is really nice. But really it comes down to making sure you harvest all you can, preserve all you can, and put it away. So that's kind of the thing. But dealing with the snow is fun. It's the cold sometimes that really gets to you, but you can go snowshoeing, skiing, snowmobiling, make snow angels, snowball fights, forts, climb up on it, and it's a lot of fun having the snow. When I was back in Ontario, we had the cold, but not a lot of snow, so it's even worse because the ground would be frozen, but you couldn't go snowshoeing because there wasn't enough snow. You could go skiing, but you'd have to go to a ski hill rather than in the backyard. You couldn't go snowmobiling unless you went way north. So here it's kind of that nice mix where it's not as cold, but we get a lot of snow to be able to do stuff. And the good thing with the snow too is it actually insulates the ground itself. So it'll insulate the tree roots from getting that really, really cold. So it's nice that way.
Yeah, Guardian. Let me throw this in for a second, Guardian. That's one benefit that the three of us we're prepping is part of our culture, and people who live in the north, the like Scandinavia, Pacific Northwest, Canada. And from our ancestors, we learned how to harvest food and can it and guard it and store it, because our ancestors, if they didn't do that, they'd die. Because winter is 6, 8, 9 months long with nothing growing. There is no food unless you physically have to put it away yourself. That's part of our culture, living in the cold north. That's one benefit I think that we have over like Filipinos and South Africans and all that. They don't think about that. They don't. That's not part of their genetic makeup, I guess you'd say, or their culture. Because like Filipinos, they do put food away for the typhoons, but other than that, they just don't think about it.
Well, there is the part of South Africa where the prepping thing comes in from being hereditary, is that if you look at what happened with the Afrikaans culture here specifically, which is like the Dutch, the Dutch that came here specifically and moved across the country, they obviously looked at a lot of rations that would be able to last for a long time. That's where they came up with biltong, where you can take meat, salt it, and just dry it out with enough salt and just dry the meat out specifically. Where they biltong most types of meat too, like ostrich biltong, like different types of cattle biltong, springbuck, kudu, like all different types of biltong. There's even crocodile biltong. But you can get like a lot of biltongs that are made. It's those type of things, even with the hardtack. It's those type of tracks that they made. So then there's that aspect of it. But what's very interesting, Bob, as well, is that the isiXhosa culture themselves, what they do is they had a lot of your more natural type of ways of prepping as well. And they still do that. I think I may have mentioned it to you once when we were in chat before, but what they do is they do a cultural thing with the rite of initiation, where they actually are encouraged to live out in the wilderness for a certain amount of time as an ascension to manhood. And it's something that's really interesting from a cultural aspect.
That's something that we don't have in the cold north. We don't have that tradition. You have to go survive. We don't have that. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's also something like where there are hugely different elements. Like you're right about the snow thing though, where prepping here in South Africa is really not something that's widespread. It really isn't something. It's something that I definitely see is even more fringe than it would be in the US. That's why, that's for that purpose that the majority of the people that I speak to, specifically online, are mostly from countries abroad, countries from the US, from the UK and Australia. That's why I'm usually the odd one out, because prepping really isn't the biggest thing here specifically. And like, I do feel it's unfortunate that when I do bring it up in different conversations, and I'm definitely very cautious when it comes to treading lightly on social topics, like, because certain people, you can feel that if you start mentioning like anything about prepping, like they'll like instantly withdraw, and like you don't want to get that reaction out of people as well. And it's also because people view it as like being so abstract. And Oslander said much earlier in the conversation, he said that that it'd be nice for people to see it more as a normal thing to do, and to kind of like remove that, to remove that stigma that it currently holds. And it's just like where it comes to local, like I never really speak about the way that it's such a rarity for me to even be into prepping, because of like there's a lot of survivalists here. There's a lot of scouts, as I say. There's a lot of culture that encourages people to understand how to live off the land. It's just like a natural thing for some people as well. But like definitely prepping the way that you guys prep, the way that I prep with you guys, isn't something that's all that common yet.
No, and like I said before, the media is horrible at that. Like even if you watch those doomsday prepper shows, like,
that did more damage to us.
George, which is not his real name, but he's worried about government tyranny and intervention. So he's got this shipping container fortress, and all of a sudden you see him shooting his guns off in the back 40, and he's like, when the government rains down and comes after us, and it's like, really, dude?
That show did more damage than it did good. Because I remember they would only focus in on these outlandish people.
But there's been too many of those, and there's too much media that's focused on that kind of stuff instead of like, hey, what happens if your car goes into the ditch? Do you have anything available if someone's not coming for a few hours?
What I don't understand is the likelihood of humankind repeating some of the same mistakes, and that's what I see happening. That's why prepping is so important, and it's because in the past we can all pretend to be all, sophisticated in every way, and that we've got these, modern day like rules, and for the most part we're all very well westernized in certain aspects, well internationalized like in a lot of ways. But it's basically like, if you look at what people have done to one another in the past, and I'm not even joking about this, and I'm speaking about so many people, I'm not speaking about just a couple of people, I'm speaking about entire nations against nations. I'm speaking about
history from start to finish.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens if we just by chance run into another situation like that, and then you're not prepared to look after yourself and your family? The amount of tragedy and suffering that could have been averted if there were much more people prepping during certain stages throughout history is just an absolutely ridiculous amount of people and lives that could have been saved, and suffering that really could have been prevented. But instead of that, like, the normalcy bias to believe that everything is going to be okay, and that makes people comfortable, because the whole normalcy bias aspect where like your brain, your subconscious understands how bad stress is for you as a factor, so you'll essentially like try and prevent any acknowledgement that things could go essentially quite bad, and that's where you'll like dig your heels in and just believe that everything's going to be fine. And what is the actual purpose of prepping? Because the government will take care of it, or the grid will stay up.
On that same similar topic, I'd say, like, whenever you talk to people about this kind of stuff, and you talk about what would happen if the power went out and people couldn't get to the grocery store for a week, where's everyone going to be at? And everyone's like, we're civilized now. Okay, well, go back 50 years. Were they not civilized then compared to the past history? You go back 200 years. Were they not civilized compared to their past history? Everyone says we're civilized now. Nothing's changed. We're still human.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But at different cultures, I wasn't trying to be presumptuous about South African. Please don't take it in that manner.
No.
But I can't
I
speak
did.
about.
I'm offended now, Bob.
Oh boy, yeah. I can't speak about the Filipinos. Is that I've been kind of shocked. Is that and I was shocked about the neighborhood that where my family lives. They don't think about this kind of stuff at all, because it's warm and it's tropical, and there is food available on the trees and all that. But I was quite pleasantly surprised when one time we were over there and we had an earthquake. It's because the Mount Taal is right there by the home, and it's an active volcano. And I was speaking with my nieces, and I said, what do you guys have a plan in case there's a volcanic eruption or major earthquake? Oh, they already had a plan in place where the whole family was going to rally and go by foot and go to there. And I go, well, how? Then they showed me their bug out bags. They already had that in place. It's like, good for you guys. And speaking with them, the neighbors don't even do that. They just, well, I've got some coin, I'll go buy a couple cans of fish, and that's what shocked me, was like, you guys live in a volcanic area in an earthquake-prone nation, and you don't do this? It's like my brain went, oh, yeah, what? Where I'm going to go back to my original point is that culturally, people who live in the north, in the cold climates, it's built in. That's what we do, I don't know where I'm going with this point, but
no, the thing is, it's terrible, Bob, when it's terrible that we live in a time right now where people are way too easily offended, and it destroys the integrity of friendship.
Now I'm offended again.
It really does. You see, and I don't cater to people like Thor that get offended as easily as he does.
Hey,
it kind of like destroys.
Guardian, never mind about him. He's a Canadian. They don't count. Okay? Now that's offensive.
No, imagine living in a country that's known for being friendly and nice, How lucky do you get when you live in a country where the whole world's like, yeah, Canadians, they're a nice bunch. Like,
but we aren't. That's the funny thing.
It's a national covert plan. We're going to subvert everyone around us.
Everyone believes that we are, and we're not. It's like, I used to travel down to Savannah, Georgia, Pooler, Georgia, and had some buddies down there. And man, when I went to Savannah, Georgia, I mean, the hospitality and the politeness and the friendliness and like, I've never been to a place in the world who have friendlier people than down in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, I agree. I've been in the South, and it is a different mentality.
I've been across Canada, U.S., Europe. I've been in a lot of places, and Savannah, Georgia is like one of the top places where people are so friendly and hospitable.
Yeah, one of the times I was overseas, and the Filipinos are very much that way, very open, very welcoming, friendly, warm people. And we took a boat ride out to tour the islands, and on that boat was a couple from Texas. And Mrs. and I were from the north, and very warm, very open. Southern people are like that, and I'm a little more standoffish. I'm a northerner. And his wife said, well, that's why we call you all Yankees. That's not a real, it's not a real, when a southerner says, those Yankees, that's not a real compliment. It's like, you guys don't mingle. You guys stay to yourselves. The cultural difference within one country is amazing. Southerners are awesome in that way. They really are very hospitable. So are you saying that Canada has got a subversive long-term mission to
exactly?
All right. I knew there was something.
Hey, I saw it once in a documentary that was called South Park.
Exactly.
I know.
It says enough right there about Canadians.
We're going to take over the world.
You look at any war that Canada has ever fought, and you'll realize that we're not as friendly as we make out to be.
I know that. I've looked back into your national history. World War I and World War II in the trenches.
1812. We burned down your White House twice.
Yeah, you did.
Is a Canadian trying to sound aggressive, Bob?
Exactly. I got to make that for something.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I just heard Bridget came back, so I'm going to go actually get dinner started for them. And this has been a blast. I love chatting with you guys. It's so awesome. But I'm going to head out now.
I know enough about Mounties to know that Canadians, and also about your ice hockey as well, to know that Canadians aren't to be messed with. And there's definitely like a brute strength underneath that friendly smile. So don't worry. We respect you enough. Don't worry, man.
Take care, guys.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Talk to you soon.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good relationship between the two countries. We can mess with each other like that, and we're still no problem, man. We're all the same, But
there's always that rivalry. There's always that friendly rivalry between the U.S. and Canada specifically.
And in all reality, I've never heard of one case of hostility between individuals in either direction. We've all got the same common thoughts, and it's very similar people. We all started from Mother England, and we just get along pretty well.
Yeah, no. It's also I enjoy some of the French accents in Canada. I enjoy some of the, and it's just so surprising to me when spending time in the US as well to meet Canadians that sounded exactly like French. Like they were French through and through. Like they weren't even like, it wasn't even slightly, I didn't think of them, as Canadians. You'd think that they're legitimately French. Like they spoke so French so much that they hardly spoke English, and when they did, it sounded exactly like somebody that would come from France. You know, it is pretty interesting.
No, I retired just a few years ago, and for a year or so I went on a chat program called Camfrog, and I talked to people from all over the world, and the English speakers usually tend to group together, of course. And one of the chat rooms I'd go into, there was Canadians and Americans, and I found I asked one simple question among the Canadians. I asked them, is Quebec the only place that speaks French in Canada? And boy, that opened up a world. Oh my, a world that I wasn't even aware of was how the English-speaking Canadians can go to Quebec, and the French-speaking Canadians will yell at them, don't try to speak my language, you suck at it. Speak English, But there was also rivalry between the actual honest French and the French Canadians. And the people from Quebec called them Paris. And I guess the French would say the same thing to the French Canadians. Don't try to speak my language. Speak English. So, wow, I wasn't even aware that was going on. I had no clue. Well, guys, I'm going to go get showered, do some grocery shopping, stop in and get a couple of handcrafted ales. And I'm going to say peace out to y'all.
There's a reason why I didn't respond right there, is I do need to also take care of something that I was taking care of something on the side. And I'm sorry to leave at the same time as you, Bob, as well. But it is nice for the conversation. Thank you for the chat. These are always, really nice ways to catch up with everybody and just, chat for a bit and speak about some important things. I learned quite a bit here as well. I learned about those 2 plants too. So I'm definitely going to be looking into those. And thank you for the stream. I appreciate it, Shadow. I really do.
You're very
Shadow.
welcome.
Peace out, Shadow. I'm gonna bounce. So later, all.
Yeah.
Goodbye for now, Bob.
Take care, Bob.
Bye.
Okay, guys. Let's see if somebody else. Wanna pop up? It's always nice. And by the way, sorry if I'm eating a sandwich. Take care, Guardian. It is fun to have you guys. The conversation is always nice and fun and interesting. Well, guys, I was thinking I begin to get pretty tired, so yeah, you can try. Thanks, Homestead.
Hey, brother.
Hey, you seem to have a better
don't know.
signal now.
I hope. The weather and everything down here is too bad. Like, we had a major freeze the last 2 days, and we still have ice on, lines and everything. We're having rolling blackouts and stuff. So
Yeah.
Mm.
We had.
So how you been?
How I've been? Well.
Yeah.
Well, this week has been pretty interesting, actually. I were at a dock. It was a Tuesday. Had an appointment to the dock with the dock.
Mm-hmm.
Because of my stomach.
Yeah.
My stomach is not getting better, so now he wants to send me to a gastric. What?
One of those gastric doctors.
Yeah, it's a gastric. Well, it's a hose they put into your mouth and down to your stomach.
I'm
with
sorry
a
to hear
kale.
that, brother.
Well, I suspect that is the ulcer I got before.
Yeah.
So
I feel you there. I had an ulcer that ate through my stomach lining. Well, I had an ulcer on the outside of my stomach, and it weakened my stomach lining in that area.
Yeah.
And with stress and because I work, 24/7 at work at
yeah
job, and the stress and not being able to take care of myself correct.
So the problem was that if I wake up at the night, I have blood in my saliva, so that is not nice. It feels like you bite somebody in the neck or something. So I had to call the doc for that one. Probably. Yeah, I've seen the doc, but I need to get these gastric scope fee. So I believe it is. I need to check that up. Gastric. Yeah, gastroscopy. That is what my doc want to send me to. So that is not nice. Yeah, I hope I can get that fixed. because I have a pressure here, and when I put my finger on there, I feel it's like you want to puke. So, yeah, I hope so too, and they will probably. And it's only at night I get the blood taste, so my stomach is not happy, and it hurts and burns. So I hope they find something, because I don't want to have it that way. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably, Louise. That might work. Thanks, Tammy. So that's the news for this week. Q Kitchen and beyond. Welcome. Good to see you. Let's see. But anyway, so they will call me. They will send me a letter when with the time and day. Okay, okay, Second Star. Yeah, but I doubt mine will fix that quick. But anyway, I hope I can get rid of this anytime, Q and Kitchen and beyond. Anytime. Anytime. Okay, Guardian, take care, stay safe, be prepared, and God bless. But anyway, it's really annoying. It's really annoying when stomach are not. Yeah, Guardian, I hope so too. So I try to keep it in check with omeprazole. So that's all I can do at the moment. Drink and eat. Try to calm things down. So that is why I'm not my regular me. Because things like this affects your mood. Yeah, me too. But I think it's ulcer I got. So I got omeprazole with another that I had to take for 52 days, and that helped to take away some of the bleeding anyway. And when I finished that medicine, it just were gone. I didn't have to wake up with blood in my mouth anymore until last week. It come back again, so that sucks. And I'm not looking forward to get a hose down through my throat, but it's necessary and it's need to be done. But except for my stomach issues I have at the moment, I'm doing just fine. I'm feeling just fine, except for my stomach. But that's it. And besides, I haven't slept that good last night, so I think I end this stream. Well, I will know more when I get the letter. Whether they will send me a letter with a day and time and date. So I expect that letter probably next week, I hope. So you picked up another 2 brand new windows for free yesterday, and about 40 pots and buckets for plants, all free. Yeah, Jenny, I will do my best. So I woke up last night. I woke up. I slept 1 hour, woke up, and slept 1 hour, woke up. So I feel pretty tired right now. So guys, thanks for stopping by, and I appreciate every one of you guys, and thanks to my mods, much appreciated. And guys, I will see you in the next one. I see you again. Take care, stay safe, God bless, and have a nice day.